night descends with shadows deep. In blood heaven, no souls asleep. The blood moon rises in crimson light, casting its light upon the night. Winds howl through the hollow trees, a whispering chant carried on the breeze. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Lanterns flicker, casting ghastly forms. In the cemetery something stirs and storms. The graves crack open, their secrets revealed. In Bloodhaven no fate is sealed. A chill creeps in through stone and bone, as spirits of the lost make their presence known. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Through cobble streets, footsteps fade, ghostly hands reach from the grave. No mercy here in the blood moon's glow. Bloodhaven's light is all you'll know. Under the blood moon, in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Beneath the blood moon's gaze the shadows sway. In Bloodhaven's light the night will stay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Inner Sleuths live stream. Today we got a little bit to talk about, not too much though. We have an event that's going to be taking place over in PaxCast. It's a limited time PvP building event. It looks to be interesting, and I have some thoughts on this event. Some of you may like my thoughts, some of you may not like my thoughts, but nevertheless, I will always tell you guys the truth and how I honestly feel. And I think I have a pretty fair assessment of things, and I think I'm pretty fair when it comes to determining if things are fair in-game or not. We're going to get into that as we read through this article, but first, huge shout out to all my channel members. Thank you guys for all the support. You can see them in chat now. There's several of you guys here. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you to all my subscribers as well, but huge shout out to all of my channel members. They are directly supporting the channel. If you would like to also directly support the channel, you can click that join button down below and become a sleuth. If you guys would like to join our community, we have a really great community, Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server. Am I loud? Is my mic too hot? I did change a bunch of stuff with my audio. I might be too loud. Hold on. Am I actually too loud? I don't mean to be shouting at you. I changed a bunch of stuff with my audio mixer, so I may actually be too loud. Is that better? Oh, I'm not loud. Okay. I thought it's just ironic that I had redone all my audio. I got you. No worries. But yeah, we have a really awesome community, the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server. If you guys would like to join a really awesome growing community, a rather large community of awesome people playing all kinds of games together. We don't just play PaxCast, we don't just play Star Citizen, we play World of Warcraft, we play Minecraft, anything we want to play. We can host servers for stuff. It's an awesome place to hang out, meet cool people. We vet people who actually join the community. You can join the Discord and just lurk or just hang out and just chat without actually signing up for anything. But if you want to become a verified CBU member, I just sound excited, Yas says. I am excited. I'm always excited to hang out with you guys. This is my favorite thing to do, is to chat with you guys. I really love it. But we do vet everyone who wants to join and get the verified CBU member tag over on Discord and on our website and everything. In order to do that, you go to our website. Well, you could type !Discord to get a link to our Discord. But then if you want to actually join up and become a member, one application gets you access to everything and anything that you might want. If there's a conflict of interest, I separated the application process a little to remove conflict of interest, because I know there's some people who are in allied clans and they don't want to join the Order of the Blood Brothers per se. They want to stay allies. You can join the community, the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server, and become a verified CBU member without actually assimilating into our ranks. That means you can still join our private servers that we host and have fun with us over on those. You can join us in other games without actually committing to joining us in PAX Day, if you so choose. Or you could take part in everything. It's up to you. The choice is yours. So I've kind of separated a little bit there to make it a little easier for everyone. We got a bunch of people in chat today already. Really great to see you guys. We got God Silent Grace, EOTB, we got Chef, we got Harold of the Almighty, Maven, Robert, Ryan, It's great to see you guys. I hope everyone is having a great day today. There's a lot of fun stuff coming for PAX Day. A lot of really interesting things that are going to be taking place after this wipe. I have my thoughts about this patch. About this, this patch also, but also about this PvP event. We're going to get into this as we read through this article here. Join our Discord, get involved with people. If you want to join us, you can type !website to actually submit an application. If you've already submitted an application, make sure you check back. If it's marked pending, you need to get in touch with me or an admin over on Discord, and we'll get you vetted. We'll get you into the community. We'll get you acquainted with everything. And if you're just joining the community, it's a lot easier of a process. But if you're trying to join the Order of the Blood Brothers, I make sure everyone fully understands what we're all about before they make the commitment, because I want to make sure everyone has informed consent. Everyone who joins the Order of the Blood Brothers comes on their own free will, their own, no reservations at all, and they know exactly what they're getting themselves into. We're a pretty unique clan. That being said, we have a subscriber goal of 1,000 that we're trying to reach. We are absolutely flying towards it. We've been covering CitizenCon. I have a bunch of small little clips that are going to be coming out to show the highlights of CitizenCon. We did one yesterday showing off an absolutely amazing immersive weather system from the new Genesis system that is coming out for Star Citizen, for the Star Engine. If you guys are interested in that at all, you can use my referral code, type !Star Citizen in chat. You'll get a link to use my Star Citizen referral. Make sure down below that it does show Star TGK7 QSHC, and you will get yourself a free 5,000 Alpha UEC. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a 24-hour subathon where several hours will be put on the clock, and that clock can be extended further and further into the future. Closer and closer to that 24-hour mark, guys, by doing things like interacting with Tangia, which you can see is currently paused in the bottom left corner. You can type !Tangia to interact with the stream. It's more for live streams where I'm actually playing a game, because then you can put funny memes on screen, but you can use it as long as it's not paused. Stuff will go through. Right now, it's getting put into a queue. And you can also extend that clock by doing things like gifting memberships or becoming a member yourself. All of these things will extend the clock closer and closer to 24 hours. We have an event coming up on the 26th of October, Saturday, October 26, 2024. We will be hosting the Omen of Oblivion, A World's End. It is a very light RP event. The Hollow Aegis will be talking a little bit about the veil between worlds and this looming omen. We have a very unique religion system in-game. You guys can type !Wiki in chat, and you'll get a link over to our Wikipedia. I'll put another link over to the event as well. This is on our Wikipedia page, but this is kind of it's going to be a compendium of all of the wipes that are going to have happened. I like to keep things documented. It's fun to go into these games like this together with a community and experience it together. I mean, these are memories that we're making that are going to last forever. And it's one of my favorite things to do is to stream these things as well, and make videos about it, because they become a permanent marker in history. And that's what this event is going to be. It's going to be a send-off of our world. Agarius, how's it going, man? Welcome in. It's going to be a permanent send-off of our world as we once knew it. The flood is going to claim the world, and this omen of oblivion will cause a world's end. But a new world will rise from the soppy, wet soil after the flood has receded, and we will be born again. We will be able to go in and build all new again over on November 5th. They changed the time, I think. It was like 5 a.m., but I think it's actually at 3 a.m. I will have to verify to make sure. If anyone knows the exact time in Central Standard Time, please let me know of the wipe. I believe I did the conversion right, and it's actually 3 a.m. The patch will drop. Hopefully we can preload that patch, and then at 7 a.m. the servers will open up. There's really only one North America shard this go around. There are two, which is concerning. We have talked about on the previous PaxCast my concern with that, but it is concerning that there's only going to be one. I forgot to tell you guys where the event's going to be held. So the event, Omen of Oblivion and World's End, will be held on US East Danu RP, and it'll be in the province of Caries, located in southern Tremen at Bloodhaven, where we host all of our events. All of our previous events have been hosted there, like the Festival of Realms. So if you guys want to come out there, it's just going to be a little get-together. We're just going to send off the world, just be together. Even if we just exist in the world together before the flood comes, it's going to be fun. So make sure you guys mark your calendars. Omen of Oblivion, A World's End, Saturday, October 26th, 2024. We're going to be gathering at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and the event will start at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. The wipe is happening on the 5th, and there's a ton of people. I mean, everybody's looking forward to this wipe. Everybody is, and that's why I have some concerns about this PvP event. I definitely have some concerns with how this is being done, and we will get into those. I like to unpack stuff as we get into it, so as we get down in here, we'll go over it. But come with us to that event. It's going to be fun to gather with everybody, even if we just are existing together in that space. All right, let's get into this article here. I'm going to go ahead and unpause Tangia. If there's any Tangias that are queued up, they'll go ahead and get played now. EUTB, how's it going, buddy? Pew pew. Jailbreak Bears Forever. Maven says Star Citizen. And we've been having a ton of fun on Star Citizen, guys. They just released 3.24.2. It's a little buggy right now. The servers are struggling quite a bit, but it's a great patch. There's a lot of really cool things in there. 4.0 is on the horizon. It's already on Evocati, and it's gonna be a blast. Moose Cup, how's it going, buddy? Welcome in. He says, based? How's it going, Moose Cup? Moose Cup, they were talking about you over at CitizenCon, man. They were talking about changing the world chat simply because they wanted it to ruin your immersion less. You'll have to check out my broadcasts on that. We have an 8-hour stream and a 6-hour stream covering 2 days of CitizenCon. Let's get into this post here, guys. Got the nice gate here. This is how you travel into Lyonesse through these gates. Conquer Lyonesse, a limited time PvP building event. They start off as always by saying, hello Paxians, we're excited to announce a limited time PvP test event taking place in Lyonesse starting tomorrow, October 23rd at noon UTC. So that's 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for anyone over here in North America. Oh, so there's really, before we get into this too much, there's really only 2 shards for North America, and there's really only one. Everybody left their other shards to come to the Danu RP server because they saw that the RP was keeping it alive. I have concerns about that I've talked about before. I think there's a lot of people who are going to be joining the Nyx RP server, the new shard, with no intentions of role-playing at all. And that's kind of concerning to me because it could be a damper on people who are actually joining the server for what it's intended for, which is roleplay. We'll see how that pans out. Regardless, the Order of the Blood Brothers and Bloodhaven will be a sanctuary for all to come and roleplay and have fun the way that they want to. If the world is filled with people who don't want to RP, we will be that haven for you to come and have fun in the game the way that you want to. So just bear that in mind. It's a concern of mine that I know for a fact there are a lot of clans and a lot of people. Everybody's going to be going to the Nyx server. I think the server is going to get full within 24 hours. I think the server is going to be absolutely jam-packed. The devs think that 2 shards is enough. Based on the numbers that are currently playing the game, I think is what they're basing it off of. It's my understanding that they did not increase the size or capacities of these servers. I think it's a big mistake. I think the servers are going to fill up super, super fast. We're not going to be able to get everybody in. New people are trying to be joining the game, and they're not going to be able to actually join our server to be able to hang out with the Order of the Blood Brothers, even though they're finding us through the YouTube channel, and it's gonna be a concern of mine. Critical failure? Oh no, critical failure. Exactly. I think it's a critical failure. Thank you, Maven, for that, Tangia. I think it's a critical failure only to have a realistically one server. They should have had 2 RP servers at least, because everybody's going to be going to an RP server. Sure, one of them would have been more populated than the other. They're trying to condense people down so there's always someone to see. But I think they are underestimating the number of. I think they're underestimating the number of people who are going to come back for this event, or for this wipe rather. I think this wipe is going to bring just about every person who's played PAX Day, the people who really just don't like the game in general, it's not for them. They're not going to come back. But I think that's a small minority of people. I think the majority of people are taking a hiatus. They're not playing because they just want more to do. We've flown through, however you want to put it, we've flown through all of the content that's available there. We've ran every single dungeon, acquired every single piece of gear, we've killed every boss. We've done everything in the game. We've built all kinds of stuff, and the RP really kept it alive for a long time. But it can only keep it alive for so long, especially when you have limited systems. We don't have a permission system. We don't have a alliance and rivalry system. We've been making up most of the stuff on our own. German 3D printing nerd says, I love PAX Day. I love PAX Day as well. I don't want this to be misconstrued for me shitting on the game. I will always tell you the truth. When the devs do something good, I will tell you the truth and I'll praise it. When they do something bad, I will criticize it. That's just my opinions on things. I'm one man. This is a case sample size of one. But I hear what a lot of people in the community have to say, and I like to give you guys a voice. I like to give you guys the opportunity here to make your voices heard through the chat. So don't be shy. If this is your first time here, don't be shy. Let it rip. If you're mad about something, as long as you're in good faith and you have a real reason and argument to back up logically what you have concern with, I'm all about engaging with that stuff. I almost forgot to tell you guys as well, last month we did a giveaway for a copy of PAX Day. The cat died, won that. Congratulations to them. They have since redeemed it. We're doing another giveaway this month leading up to the 5th, where we're giving away another copy of PAX Day. If you guys want a chance to enter to win a free copy of PAX Day, you can give it to a friend, have some more plots for yourself so you can conquer and take over the world, whatever it is you want to do with that. That'll be your choice. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and leave comments on all my uploads during this month. Every upload that you leave a comment on gets you an entry. You can only earn one entry per upload, so you can't leave multiple comments on one video to get multiple entries. My program only looks at least one comment from a subscriber, and it looks at every video, every short, every upload throughout the entire month. And at the end of the month, we'll pull up my program live and we'll pull a winner, and we'll see who's going to win a free copy of PAX Day. And again, after you win it, you can give it to whoever you want. Robert says, makes me wonder if they'll increase the max number of plots per shard. I heard rumor that that was not the case, because that was my initial thought too, was maybe they've increased how many people can play on the shard. Maybe they've increased how many plots because they've made the zones bigger. We did get maps, so we went over in the last episode of PaxCast. We do know what the world's going to look like now. There's new biomes, there's new biome distribution, there's all kinds of stuff. Make sure you guys check out the previous episodes of PaxCast. Really great stuff in there about what's coming out with this update. But it's to my understanding that they're not actually increasing anything with the shard limits. That could change. They could be under wraps. It could have just been a rumor. I don't know. But it's concerning, because if there's only one real server that people are going to, it's going to be flooded. You're going to have people who are going to be setting up plots that are going to play for like a week and then they're never going to play again. They're going to wait for the next patch, which is all fine and dandy, but only having one server, they're going to be taking up precious real estate. It's going to be very hard to get everybody all together to be able to enjoy the game the way that big clans should be able to, and small clans should be able to. But let's get further into this here. EOTB says your energy level is up. That is not a sound change. I'm happy to be doing this. Well, I did change all my audio, so I thought I was too loud for a second. No, I am pumped for this, guys. I really am pumped for PAX Day, for the patch, not for this PvP thing so much. And I'll tell you my concerns as we get down further into this, why I'm not really too excited about this, and I think it's actually a mistake. I think it's a last-ditch effort for them to try and stir up some activity in people, but I think people are seeing past it, and a lot of people are going to pass on it. Some people are going to take advantage of it, and I think that that's the bad part. But let's get further down into this article here. The PvP province, Lyonesse, will be open to building. You read that right. You'll be able to place a plot in the PvP province and start building there. Fill a chest with pure iron. Beware though, unlike other provinces, other players can attack you while you're on your plot. I do think that this is going to be coming to the Wildlands. I think we all know that this is going to be coming to the Wildlands, and I think maybe they're trying to test this out. But you'd think they'd want to test this in a live environment with a lot of people. There aren't that many people playing the game right now. It's very sparse. Let me pull this up right here. Let's refresh it. 406, 407 people playing the game right now across all shards. And some people, again, they say this is only Steam numbers. It could be all numbers. There is an API which allows servers to report max players, not just players who are using the client. I don't know what this number is. You could double it. Okay, there's 800 people playing across all shards. There's a lot of shards. Everyone's going to be spread thin. You may not even see anybody. it's not a lot of people for what it should be. Max of 420. Hey, yo, let's go. Max of 420 over the past 24 hours. A far cry from what it should be. But this is my concern. They're opening up building in Lyonesse, which is all fine and dandy. We know that we're keeping our materials. We know that we're keeping all the stuff that's on our plot. Do you remember back in World of Warcraft days when they had PvP servers and you could not transfer a character from a PvP server to a PvE server? Or from a PvE server to a PvP server. And that was because people would go and they would make characters on PvE servers. They would level up without getting ganked. They would level exponentially faster because there was no risk. And then what they would do is they would transfer their characters over and they would dominate in PvP. They'd be at the same level as that. They wouldn't get like any unfair advantage in PvP, but they skipped the entire painstaking process of collecting resources the hard way, right? And leveling up the hard way. My main concern with this is you are going to have people on random shards with no players on them because everybody switched over to USD stand URP, and they're going to be amassing materials from Lyonesse. These materials are going to get carried over. They talk about that down below. These materials will get put into your global, your recovery chest where you'll be able to get all your stuff back after the patch. I think it's kind of rewarding people for just logging in, and they're going to be going to these remote servers that has nobody on them simply to collect steel, and they're going to amass it completely unhindered. Whereas if we were to get on USC stand URP, there's probably going to be more people there because that server is populated with probably the majority of those people who are even playing are on USC stand URP. I also think it's kind of silly that they're changing the names of the servers, but there could be a reason for that. Who knows? And now these people are going to be able to collect all this stuff unhindered on these servers that have nobody on them, and they're going to be able to bring that over into the new world. That's my main concern. It's like leveling up in PvE and having it carry over to a PvP server. Robert says there will be feels bad for people who actually want to play but not able to at the day of the start, and plots are taken up by those who are able to jump on and grab land. Yeah, that's my concern as well with only one shard. But let me know what you guys think about what I just said here about the PvP server. That's my main concern is you're going to have people on these remote servers that nobody's playing on. They're going to go in Lyonesse, put down their plot, amass it with resources, and no one's going to be able to steal those resources. Once you put the resources in a chest on a plot, you can be killed, sure, but nothing can be taken from your plot. So that stuff, as soon as you secure it, you can put a plot right next to the harvesting zones and just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And as long as you have a couple people, there's really no risk if you're on a remote server. And now all of that's going to get carried over. I think that's a really bad way of doing it. I don't know why they're doing this, to be honest. I think they're trying to just shake things up and get people active right before the wipe comes and get people hyped. But I think this is the wrong way to do it. And that's just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with that. You guys can tell me what you think in the chat. I think it's going to allow people to amass materials that otherwise should not be able to be amassed. I mean, kind of like the using Mez Fireball and cheating things into existence. I think carrying that stuff over is a mistake as well. Ryan says, I don't know that the resource hoarding will be a terribly big deal, to be honest, provided that they actually bring the markets, they wipe materials. Yeah, so I don't think we're actually getting the markets with this next wipe. I think that they kind of alluded to that. We're not going to be getting the markets. That'll come in a future patch, maybe the one with the turn of the year, which is weird because they did tell us that was one of the first things they told us was going to be in this patch, right? They said that the markets and the economy are coming with the next update, which is this update. The Shadow, how's it going, man? Welcome into the stream, buddy. Can people not break other people's chests and storage and steal their resources? No, they can't. And that's my concern with it. As soon as you secure the resources, Shadow, it's secured. So all you have to do is put a plot next to the stuff, be on a remote server where nobody's there, and as soon as you secure it, you have steel secured. Is it that big of a deal? Not really, but you know people are going to be doing this until the day of the launch now. Starting tomorrow till the day of the launch, they're going to be on remote servers. They're going to have chests and chests and chests filled with steel, and it's just going to ruin the economy and even the bartering now going forward. No longer can you trade with... You can't really trade with steel anymore. Steel no longer has its value after this event. They've devalued so many things in the game. The currency would be devalued if it was to come in because people have amassed all kinds of runes and sigils by cheating and exploiting and using the Mez Fireballs and stuff like that. And now they're going to devalue steel by making it just this thing that some people have millions of. It's really, honestly, I don't really know what they're hoping to accomplish here. There's no good data really that could be accomplished or acquired by doing this. I don't think. I think they maybe just want to see how many people want to engage in PvP. We're going to read through their article here and we're going to get more into it, but I really want to know what you guys think about this stuff. But yeah, Shadow, that you can't break into people's chests. I did skim this and they did say that down below. Cooter Pooter, welcome into the stream, buddy. He says, if you read Discord, you know my opinion. Going to be a circus. UTP says, dealing with the struggle 100%. Let's hope early access to launch day, a full wipe takes place. It will. UTP, they have said that. From early access to launch day, when the game goes 1.0 full release, they're going to wipe the servers. That's the one wipe that we do know of for sure, other than this next one. We just need to remember that this is all pretend learning till launch. We are testers, but agree. Yeah, and that at the end of the day, that's true. None of this does really matter. But your experience as a tester is kind of consequential, to be honest. If the data is ruined downstream because of bad practices like letting people exploit and cheat stuff in, all the information about the economy and stuff is going to be ruined if they don't wipe beforehand, if you read me. When you cheat and acquire stuff, everything else downstream, all that data is ruined. And it does affect us because we have to deal with the other people in the world. It's not like we can have private servers for this. If there was private servers, I don't care. Let people do whatever the hell they want, right? We could open up a private server and we could do our own wipes and give them data and they could produce the game like Conan Exiles and have our own private server for the game. But there's no private servers. It's an MMO. So we have to deal with these other people who are going to be cheating stuff into existence using Mez Fireball, who are going to be exploiting and going. It's not really an exploit. I mean, they're really just taking advantage of a bad situation or a good situation, depending on how you look at it. They're going to go into PvP and collect all of these materials. Karen, how's it going? Welcome into the stream. I think they introduced the next resource above steel. It's all the new things to trade in. They might. I've talked about that. I think they might introduce another tier or two. So we'll see that maybe the steel won't be as consequential. You might be right there. We don't really know. Robert says, it might make a difference if steel is no longer the highest level of material after the update. Yeah, exactly. That could be the thing. But nevertheless, it still is a concern that they're willing to do events like this. I'm all for events like this, but why at the end when nobody's playing, when all the shards are dead and people can just hide and go, like shut down all the shards and force everyone into one shard or something now, we're getting so close to it at this point. Push everyone into one shard so you can actually have a fair playground and you don't have people just hiding on other shards. Ryan says, so with regards to not good information, they can get this. They can get from this. Mainframe dev did clap back at someone kindly saying the same thing, pointing out the ideas of what people wanted to try. What exactly did they say, Ryan? Like PvP-centric building, like the Coliseum. See, a Coliseum where it's a flagged PvP zone, you have to make the choice to go in there and it's just for blood sport. I'm looking forward to having stuff like that and duels. That's a little different than allowing people to amass steel, though, Junk data in, junk data out. Exactly, Maven. And that's my concern is you go in, you Mez Fireball, you get a bunch of sigils that shouldn't exist. Now you're able to craft things faster and acquire stuff faster than you shouldn't be able to normally. You can put that into the economy and ruin the economy downstream. All of that data is now ruined because of one simple exploit. And that's why I think that stuff is detrimental. I think they need to fix the exploits day one immediately. I'm going to continue down here in this article. So they do say people can attack you while you're on your plot. Why are you running this test? We want to assess players' interest in PvP and building in the PvP province. Again, I unpack things as I read it here, and I find this interesting. They want to assess players' interest in PvP and building in PvP provinces. They're probably trying to gauge how many people want to build in the Wildlands. I think this is a fundamentally flawed way of going about finding that information out because, again, not that many people are even playing the game. I'll pull it up again here. Not that many people are even playing the game. Let's refresh it. 400. It's dropping. 419 in the peak 24 hour. So, there's not a lot of people even playing the game, so that's not a good assessment of what the community wants. And on top of it, this is a isolated situation. It's focused. Not everyone would want to partake in this type of event who normally would want to have the natural ebb and flow of PvP in the real world. So I don't think this is a good indication of people's interest in PvP and building in PvP provinces. I think this is not a one-to-one correlation. It might still have some merits in the data to show who's interested in that, but I just don't really see it. I don't see the carryover. I don't see the one-to-one translation there. Let's scroll up and catch on a little bit more of this chat here so I don't miss anything. Guys, if I miss your chat, I do apologize. There's a lot of chat going on right now. There's a lot of things flying past super fast. So if I miss something, I apologize. I will always get to super chat. So if you have something super important to say, you can always pop in a super chat. And I do my best to get to every other message from channel members especially, and then messages from everybody. I try not to miss any messages, but it is bound to happen. The green names do pop out a little more from the channel members, and I'll always get to super chats. But let's catch up on a little more chat here. Diamond armor, like from Minecraft. Well, there's actually netherite above diamond armor now. Ryan says it's 0 dev time and they may find something from people's behaviors. Potentially. Chef says, I think that they are just testing building outside of the home valleys in preparation for the Night Barony territorial control aspect of the game, just not saying it to us because, you know, shitty devs. I don't think they're shitty devs. I think they have a very bad PR team, and they just aren't very communicative to us. They're not like communicating very well and whatnot. I think that's the issue. I think the devs are going to pull this game off. I think this game's going to be great. I do have high hopes for it. And if you ask me my honest opinion of what this game's going to look like in a year, I think it's going to be drastically different. We're not hardly going to recognize a lot of the systems. We're going to bring a lot of stuff online that we need in the game, and it's going to be a really good game. I think we're going to really, truly enjoy it when it does come out to 1.0, when it's full release. But it makes it very difficult to cover the news on it when they're so shady. Not really shady, but keeping things behind closed doors. They're a closed book for a lot of things. It does seem like they're opening up quite a bit, though. So let's hope that they continue that trend. I want to praise them when they do stuff like that, and they're actually giving us information and stuff to talk about. We love to get together and have these streams, do we not? Let them know in chat, guys. What do you guys think of these streams, these PaxCasts, where we can come together as a community, chat about the game, the future of the game? I mean, look at how much stuff we have to talk about with Star Citizen, right? We could talk about, if everyone in here loved Star Citizen, we could talk about Star Citizen and all the future and all the upcoming stuff in the theory craft until we turned blue in the face. Let Mainframe know in chat right now, what do you guys think about being able to come together like this and have stuff to talk about? You guys like having things to talk about here on PaxCast where we can come together as a community and just chat about the future, theory craft about the future, and have information at our fingertips to go on about? Let them know. Because I think if they know more and more that the community really, really likes having information to talk about, maybe their PR team will pick it up a little bit. But I don't agree with that they're shitty devs. I think that they are just really lacking on the public relations side. Ryan says, so a player who's saying they couldn't learn from anything from it, never would change. They came back linking a chat from someone being creative with build ideas. Red, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, Red. I hope you're having a great day so far today. Just asking a gnarly question in their official Discord. Just asked a gnarly question in their general Discord, and the general consensus is that you can theoretically create a character on a dead server, hoard tons of mats, and then move it. Yeah, I didn't read that, but that's exactly what I said at the beginning. That was my main concern. You're going to be able to move it over to a server that is going to be populated after you've amassed all of these ingredients. And that's a concern of mine. I think that that's flawed. I think it's a flawed methodology of testing. I think it's not going to be good data. And I think it's going to it's not really going to ruin our experience because it doesn't really truly affect us on a 1-to-1 ratio. It doesn't directly affect us, but we have to deal with those people in the future. And I say deal with them like I love interacting with everyone in the game. It sounded bad coming out like that, but you have to deal with people who are exploiting and cheating as well. And that's not fun to deal with. But yeah, exactly, Red. That's exactly what I was saying earlier on. Ryan says an example of something learnable, such as behaviors. Red says straight to a new shard. Yeah, they're going to take it all straight to a new shard. Exactly. Maven says there is really nothing that could determine the interest when there could only be 400 people in the audience at the moment. Exactly. I'm trying to catch up on chats. Let's see here. I don't think that's something they care about, though. Yeah, they may not. Who knows? UTB says it needs to be faction-based, siege style. That'd be pretty cool, actually. That would be really cool. And it could be faction-based. Let's say in the future we have alliances and we have rivalries and stuff like that. We could form an alliance, an actual alliance with all of our allies. It now disables PvP. We're good to go. We have a faction. We could all be different individual clans under one banner, united, kind of like how we have with our allies. That's kind of what we do already, but an actual system in game could allow you to have exactly what you just described there. They have a very bad PR team. I think the issue is they do not have a PR team at all. Yeah, you might be right there, Ryan. Honestly, they really might not. You do a better job covering the game than the developers. Oh, I really appreciate that, Maven. I do my best. Honestly, I want to bring you guys the most up-to-date, good information. I tell you if it's theorycraft and I tell you if it's fact. And the things that I call fact are what come from the devs or from these posts. I take things at face value. I don't, I will let you know if it's theorycraft. I love theorycraft. I love to talk about werewolves and weather effects and stuff that we may not be getting ever. I love to talk about that stuff, but I let you know that it's theorycraft first and foremost, because that's the most important thing to me is I want to bring good information to you guys and make sure that we're all staying informed. German 3D Printing Nerd says, absolute cool here. Red says, upon the November 5th update, uncontested pure iron hoarding, bruh, economy will be dead on arrival. I don't think we're getting the economy, Red. They alluded to that the economy and the markets aren't coming until maybe the next update, a future update, because they did say something like in a future update, the economy will such and such. So I don't think we're getting the economy on November 5th, which is ironic, like I said before, because it was one of the first things we knew about that was going to be coming in this update. I think it got bumped, which is okay. Star Citizen bumps stuff all the time, but at least they told you what they were hoping to get in, and then they told you why it got bumped. Here, it's kind of just like, the economy is coming in the next update. And then on Discord, they'll whisper something like, yeah, so the economy, it might come in a future update. It's just whispered. It's not put out in official capacity. So we don't really know. Is that whisper true? Is the post still true? Does that person who whispered, who was a dev, is that inconsistent and not actually true? That's the problem with the PR team, or the lack thereof. So, but yeah, it would be dead on arrival with the pure iron hoarding as well as the exploited items that are in currency or in circulation right now. There's no question about it. Red says, opt-in PvP lets you put the majority and ease the gathering tier resources in the PvP area. Yeah, I agree. Ryan says, the more people talk about an IP, the more engaged and interested they will be with that IP. So it's boon to the game to have people talking about it. PaxCast style content is a net positive. And I think it's a net positive for us as well, because we get to come together and voice our opinions, let alone draw in new people. But yeah, I agree with you 100% there, Ryan. Red says, literally forcing you to opt into PvP. Joseph, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, buddy. I hope you're having a great day today. Thanks for stopping by. Joseph says, I always thought it was more of a lost in translation European thing in regards to mainframe's lack of PR. It definitely could be, but when you come out in an official capacity and you say there's going to be a market and an economy coming in the next update, the next major update, and then on the Discord you whisper stuff saying, yeah, no, that's not coming in this next update, it's coming in maybe a future update. I don't know how else to put it. That's like crossed signals right there. That's not like a language barrier or anything like that. That's just mixed signals. Robert says, I much prefer your information and delivery than any other streamer. You keep it real, raise good questions and concerns, and don't sugarcoat anything. It's real, it's solid, and it's well done. I really appreciate that, Robert. Yeah, I do my best to make sure I'm bringing the best information to you guys, and I will always tell you the truth, regardless if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I will criticize what needs criticized, and I think I'm pretty fair. I think we could all agree that I'm pretty fair in my assessments. I'm not just bashing anybody just to bash anybody. When I make an assessment of something, I look at everything logically, and I think how it's going to affect the future, what the fall off from that is, and all of that good stuff. I try to be as fair as possible with everything that I do. And if you think that earns your subscription, please consider subscribing to the channel. Help us reach that 1,000 subscriber goal and get to our 24-hour subathon. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. EOTB says, you have always done a great job as the I know verse, I think, or at the I know verse, I think. I appreciate that, EOTB. Ryan says, Coloco was clear we aren't getting an economy. And on the November 5th. Yeah, and that was my point, because in the last, in their official capacity, they said it's coming in the next update. And then I think you're right. It was Coloco came out and said that we're not actually getting that in this next update, which I think is a good thing because they're not wiping stuff. They're probably, who knows, maybe they heard what we had to say here on the channel and they understood that the economy would be dead on arrival. Maybe they're actually listening. I have no idea. But that's why I always like for you guys to voice your opinions in chat and make it heard through this stream. So why are we running this test? We want to assess players' interest in PvP and building in the PvP province. We went over that. We talked about that. We've read quite a lot of feedback from people who want real PvP. Yeah, we do want real PvP, and I don't think this is real PvP. I think this is isolated, forced, contested area PvP, funneling in people into. And I think it'd be better if there was only like on one shard it was happening, and you funnel everybody in there or something like that, because then it would be a little more true to like an actual battleground. Like in World of Warcraft, you go into the battleground and like, you know, you have this giant war. That would be pretty interesting. But that's not really what they're doing. This is not real PvP. And we're offering you a taste of it. Oh, okay. So it's just a taste of real PvP, so to speak. Hey, I mean, if people want to partake, they're going to partake. I wish that it was just building there and not really amassing the materials, but that would rub people the wrong way, because then what would be the incentive? They're trying to incentivize people. I think I figured out what they're trying to do here. They're trying to incentivize people to want to go into the PvP zone, to partake in this stuff so people can get a taste for it. That's probably their intentions are probably good. I don't think they really thought about the stuff being carried over, affecting people who don't want to partake, or I also don't think they really thought about people going to obscure shards that have nobody on it and then carrying the resources over to a populated shard in the future. I think that's honestly the biggest concern. I don't think they really thought about that. I think their intentions are pure, and they want people to just have a taste of quote unquote real PvP so they can experience what it may be like in the future. We also want to observe the strategies solo players and clans are developing to conquer the PvP province and use the resources at their disposal in the best way possible. The upcoming wipe gives us a good opportunity to organize this event, as everything will be back to normal. Well, that's not true. Everything will not be back to normal. People will have carried over metric shit tons of steel that they amassed by partaking in this on obscure shards. So everything won't be back to normal. That's kind of a misleading statement. The world will be back to normal. The world will be wiped, and you won't be able to build there in the future, is what they're alluding to. But it's not going to be back to normal per se. German 3D Printing Nerd says they should also raise the health and stamina to a better level. 150 is not good. Well, they want you to be relying on food and stuff. I mean, so at least it's balanced, right? At least it is a balanced system. Robert says it would be useful if the devs turned on the new combat system in PvP areas only during the event for testing purposes. Now that would be interesting, Robert. That is not a bad idea. And also, if they let you keep your stuff, but not the resources, I think then everybody would partake in this. They would get a ton of data. If you did not lose your armor and you didn't get to keep the resources, maybe you got some reward or something for however much resources you gathered, but you didn't get to keep them carried over. Maybe they did something like you get a special build piece if you acquire X amount of resources before the wipe happens. You don't get to keep the resources, but you get like a title. Not really a title, but if you got something to show for it as a trophy. That way you got to keep your stuff, you engaged in PvP, you got to test the new combat. That would be interesting, Robert. Might be onto something there. I don't think they're going to change this. It's set in stone, so we're just theory crafting about what we would have liked to have seen. I think it's set in stone and it's going to be what it's going to be. I don't think they're going to change it last minute. And I think, honestly, if they were to back down and change it now, I think that would upset more people. So they would have upsetted people who didn't want to partake in it, and then they would have upset the people who did want to partake in it, and they would have been pissing off people on both sides of the aisle. UTB says it's more of a system check, rule set. We hope they understand. Red says at the end of the day, it's a test, a big fat long ass test. Everything will be wiped and a fresh clean slate. Yeah, and that's true. When the game releases, it will all be wiped. Nothing gained, nothing lost. But it's the experiences that you have along the way. You don't want to be rewarding people and making their experience more fluid or better for them exploiting, cheating, and taking advantage of systems like this. You know what I mean? So it does have some bearing, because there's no better time than the present, right? And the present is right here, right now, the experiences we're having together. So it does have real implications on us. Whether it carries over after or not is kind of irrelevant, because it does affect us in the here and now. The only real thing lost will be your time. Yeah, at the end of the day, true. And we're going to have fun regardless. We're going to have fun regardless. I'm just voicing our concerns about some of these things. Let's continue down here and see what else they have in store for us. How long will this test last? This temporary test will last until the maintenance plan on November 5th. So that is 3 a.m. Central Standard Time on November 5th. This will be ending. And the development of your next content update, the Proving Grounds. So with the Proving Grounds, the test will conclude. You can see it right there. It's going to end until the maintenance. The maintenance starts at 3 a.m. and the servers go live at 7 a.m. Ryan says, I think one of the things they will already have learned is how many people were vocally stating they would place a plot simply to destroy the pure iron nodes. Oh, that's actually, I didn't even think of that, Ryan. I didn't even think of that. What if people just place all their plots on top of the iron nodes and now they're gone? Do you think they created a demilitarized zone around those as if it's a POI? I didn't even think of that. That is a very good point. Aren't people just going to go and place their plots on it and there's literally going to be no iron there to collect? Oh man, I hope that happens. I kind of hope that happens. That would be hilarious. Ryan says, predictable to an extent, but people were very fast to jump on that. Obviously, they can't hurt quarries. That's true. The quarries will remain intact because those are POIs. Templar, how's it going, man? Welcome into the stream. Hope you're having a great day today, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. He says, I'm going to be so screwed on getting in that day. I work all day, plus it's election day, so I'm going to be so late to get home. Damn, man. Yeah, I know a lot of people are taking off the day in order to hop in day one, moment one. We're going to be hosting another Sanguine Council this week. Well, within a week. So make sure you guys are watching the Oathsworn events room over on the Discord, over on the community Discord server. We're going to be hosting another Sanguine Council meeting very soon to go over our plans on everything here. Ryan says they can't do that in the quarries. They can in the non-quarries areas. Yeah, that's true. Red says that was one of the first arguments that came up. Oh, was people destroying the nodes? UTB says, well, if folks are not using the bug of unclaim and reclaim to farm those. Oh, like getting them to pop up. That is true. There's a lot of exploits and stuff that's cheaty. You're absolutely right there, EOTB. That's one of the things we haven't really talked too much about. If they unclaim the spot, if they claim everything around it and then they unclaim the spot that the nodes spawn, they can get the nodes and then reclaim it to make no one else be able to get it again. It's a lot easier to wall off the resources, I think, in Lyonesse too, because the Lyonesse resources are in more confined areas as it is. Robert says there's a large area of nothing where buildings can be built. I don't think mainframe will allow building over the iron nodes. I think they will. That's just, I don't know. I don't have any reason to believe so, but I don't think they've implemented anything that would stop people from building on top of... I don't think they have that implemented in the engine yet, the ability to create like a demilitarized zone. Templar says that info came too late for me to get off. It was like 2 days too late for me to request off. Damn, dude, just call in sick. I'm sick, sorry. I got the flu. I'm puking and shitting everywhere. Out at the same time. I'm puking and shitting at the same time. Can't come in, sorry guys. No, man, I totally understand it. It sucks if you're not able to get there, but hopefully the shard doesn't fill up within 24 hours like I think it's going to. Ryan says, at Robert, they totally are as long as it's not a quarry. Sorry you're feeling sick, Templar, Maven says. So we know now how long the event is going to last. If I'm idling or building on my plot, am I safe? You're not. Your plot does not protect you from other players' attacks unless, of course, you build walls high enough that no one can climb over them. But we know that that's kind of bunk because all you have to do is claim the plot, claim the area next to somebody's plot, and then just put a ladder going over their wall. I mean, I don't think you should be able to do that. I think there should be a buffer around people's plots. I think there definitely should be a buffer unless you're in a clan or unless you're an ally with someone or on their friends list or give them permission to build within the buffer zone. I think there should be a buffer because you build walls high enough. We've seen this happen at one of our first streams when the tyrants of the north were trying to wall off the resources and we went to confront them. They were trying to wall off resources, and somebody had just literally placed down a plot and just put a ladder going up over the wall. It was freaking hilarious, but walls mean nothing. Can players destroy my buildings and steal my resources? The permission system applies like in the other provinces, and unless you set everything to public or give access to your clan members, other players won't be able to access your belongings. So there you go. You'll be able to lock the stuff down. No one can steal it from you. It's secure. It's protected. You get all of your resources that all of your ill-gotten gains by being on a obscure shard can be hoarded freely. Let's see what else we got in chat here. Robert says, well, that's a bummer. Oh, about him not being able to come. Yeah. Red says, you know, there are dudes out there that can do that. Can do what? I'm trying to read up above and see if there was something that I missed. Dudes who can do what, Red? They go on to say here, I don't have any remaining free plots. Does that mean I need to release one to be able to place a new plot in Lyonesse? This is also concerning here, because they said we will not be providing any additional plots. This is for this temporary test. If you've already placed all of your available plots in the world that you want to claim space in Lyonesse for yourself, you'll need to release one before heading there. What if you only have one plot? What if you only have one plot? This is trying to force people into purchasing a higher package maybe, or incentivizing people to then upgrade their package. A little bit shady way of doing that. Hey guys, you can amass all of these resources on an obscure server with no players, with no risk, high reward. All you have to do is upgrade your package, because you're not going to release your plot and lose all the materials that you know are going to get carried over. You only have one plot. Go ahead. Buy the upgrade. Buy the upgrade, guys. That's a little bit pushy in my opinion. I think that that's kind of rewarding people for purchasing the plots. If ever you had an argument to say that plots were pay to win, this would be something I would agree with you on, only in this case. I don't think under normal circumstances buying more plots is pay to win, but in a situation like this where having an extra plot means you can now go and amass all kinds of steel and win, quote, air quotes, win in the next patch, I think that is borderlining. That's your leg to stand on with saying plots are pay to win. If they're going to be doing stuff like this in the future, that is concerning, because I think that is rewarding people for upgrading their packages, paying more money to have those extra plots to be able to go do that stuff. That is a concern for sure. With the upcoming wipe, what happens to the plot that I used to build in Lyonesse as part of this PvP event? So you're going to get to keep all the stuff. They say right here, once the next content update is deployed, your plot in Lyonesse, like all of your plots, will be wiped, which means it's going to go away. You're not going to, you're going to lose everything that was on it. Like the actual building is going to go away. And all the resources and items on it will be returned to you in the redeeming queue. So again, they're going to be rewarding people for having more plots, which I think is not a good thing. I think that's kind of shady. Maven says the reward has been there since day one, though. Well, not really to this capacity, if you think about it. I mean, yeah, you could have outposts and things like that, but this is directly rewarding you with iron, with pure iron, with steel, for having upgraded your package. It's directly rewarding that behavior. If you upgrade and you have more plots now, you can literally go place this directly next to iron and farm it and carry that stuff over. What if you can't afford to upgrade your package? You literally just can't afford to. And now someone else who can upgrades, and they go and farm all the resources. They plop it all in their chests. Going into the next patch, they're going to have tons of iron and tons of pure iron, and you're not going to have any extra to show for it. So it hasn't really been there in this capacity since day one. Under normal circumstances, I don't think plots are pay to win. I think that the plots are pretty well balanced in terms of what you get from them. It's just a place to be able to build realistically. You normally can't, in the heartlands, you're placing your plots as close to resources as you want or in a nice, beautiful area. But this is directly rewarding people for having more plots free to be able to go place in the PvP zone. Ryan says, to be fair though, Void, you could have had a plot next to or damn close to pure iron for the last 4 months though. In select heartlands, yeah. But those are small use case scenarios, really. I mean, that's a big area inside of the heartlands that is much harder to wall off, much harder to capitalize on. And there's nothing stopping you. There's no risk really in going there. Sure, you could go to Iniscalia, go up to the northeast, place down a plot. There's tons of real estate there. This is in a much more isolated, controlled environment. And if you don't have a plot, an extra plot to place in PvP, well, it looks like you're out of luck. The other guy who had the money to pay for the extra plots, he's in luck. He's going to get to amass all this stuff. Stefan says you can farm so much not in Lyonesse with far less risk. It is not as much though. I will say we did a test, and if you're hitting the nodes that are not in Lyonesse, you only get about 25% of the resource yield. It's like 25 to 30% of the resource yield. Your picks break much, much faster, and you get less resource yield. It drops less. It's not as pure as the stuff in Lyonesse. I'm not saying that you can't get some, but we did do a test. We took an empty inventory with 3 picks or 4 picks. I forgot exactly how many it was. We went into Lyonesse and we used all of the picks. We filled up our inventory. I think we still had some pick left over. We filled our inventory completely full, and all 3 or 4 of those picks, not in Lyonesse, only yielded about a quarter of an inventory full of pure. So it is dropping significantly less. So this is directly rewarding people for having an extra plot to go into the PvP zone during this event on an obscure server to farm as much as they can. But you do definitely get exponentially less. You get like 75% less pure iron, 75% less steel yield from doing it not in Lyonesse, which I do think there needs to be risk reward. But does that not seem a little strange? They're literally rewarding people for having an extra plot to go into Lyonesse to capitalize on this. If you don't have any extra plots, because let's say you have 4 plots, this is now rewarding you for opening up an alt account to be able to go there, get someone in the clan, share it with clan, place down more plots. Like if you're already using all 4 of your plots and you can't condense, it's basically rewarding you for having extra plots. You could have always built next to the stuff out in Iniscalia. And you could have been getting that all along. You do get substantially less, though, but that's a much bigger area. It's not as confined. Nico, how's it going, buddy? Welcome in. I'm going to call BS on that right now. I have 3 full inventories with 3 pickaxes, not in Lyonesse, consistently maxed armor smithing. Well, I mean, we tested it. We showed it on stream. Unless they've changed it. I don't know. Maybe they've changed it. But you're saying you got a full inventory with 3 pickaxes, not in Lyonesse, consistently maxed armor smithing on it. When were you doing that? Was this a recent change maybe or something? Because we did go test it. I mean, I have people probably in chat who can attest to it, and we showed it all on stream as well. We were getting consistently less. I don't know about your test, but I've been doing it for 2 months now. So going back 2 months, that's when. How long ago did we do that, guys? People in chat who actually, I think was it EOT, who tested this with us? I think it was, I'm trying to remember exactly who went out and tested it. I can't remember exactly which members went out to test it with us. But yeah, for us, it was substantially less. Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe we tested it before they changed it and upped the drop rate, maybe. Maybe it's recently dropping more in Iniscalia or in the non-PvP zones. I'm honestly not sure. Because I haven't been on in a while. There's a lot of people who just literally aren't playing the game right now, so I can't attest to what its current state is at the moment. Robert says, well, I don't want to risk my gear for this event. Doesn't seem worth it to me. Well, and that's the point, Robert, is there are people who aren't going to have to risk their gear because they're on a shard that nobody's playing on, so they can just freely walk around with no risk whatsoever, whereas people who are on aUEC, the populated server where everybody switched over to. And here's the thing too, some people have alts or mains that were on other shards that they can still go hop onto specifically for this event. So they're not going to be taking part on the one on aUEC, even though they switched over to Danu for the population. They're going to be going back to their other characters on these other shards that have nobody on them. They're going to amass all the steel unhindered, and then they're going to be able to carry it over to the Nyx RP server, which is going to be, in my opinion, the only server going forward, the only shard going forward for North America. That's where everybody's going to be. That's the main concern, is that they can just hop over and they already have a character who has maybe steel pickaxes. Because if I was to switch over to another shard right now to try and take advantage of that, I don't have a character leveled up on there with mining and with steel pick access, but they probably do because they switched over to our server. So they get to go back to their home shard that has nobody on it and just reap the benefits. Stefan says he's getting so much because server dead, max spawn is up. Oh, that could be the case too. Yeah, if no one's farming the stuff right now, you're able to do your loops a little better because the nodes. But I was talking specifically about the durability of the pickaxe and the drop rates. We specifically saw when we did our test, and again, all of this stuff could be changed. Again, Mainframe doesn't let us know about this stuff when they're changing a lot of this shit. I mean, things just randomly pop up. So this very well could have changed since we've done it, because we normally go to Lyonesse for our steel. There's no point not to where we are located, and there's literally no risk for us with 135 members in the clan. We go in mass and there's no risk at all pretty much. So we have not done too much testing on this as of late. They could have changed it. They could have made it to where it drops more. I honestly don't know. But from our test, we showed it on stream. You went out with 3 picks or 4 picks in Lyonesse, filled your inventory, went in not PvP zone and did it, and you only got a quarter of an inventory. It was pretty crazy. And that was with same skill level and all that stuff. Nico says, was everyone maxed mining? Well, it doesn't really matter if their mining was maxed. It was a 1-to-1. So it was the same person testing it in both zones. So even if their mining wasn't maxed, I believe it was, because whose mining isn't maxed. But it was a 1-to-1 test. If they were level 10 even in mining or level 20 in mining, they were level 10 or 20 in both tests. Sure, of course, the actual node availability is a different story, but the drop rate per node, no. Yeah, I think they did change it, Nico. They must have, because again, you can literally go back on my streams. I mean, I know it's a lot to dig through. I have really, really long streams, but we did test it, honestly. We really did. They must have changed something somewhere and upped the drop rate. I'm not too sure. Yeah, the node availability is different, but that's not going to be determining that's going to determine how fast you can fill your inventory, not how fast you chew through a pick or the drop rates from the nodes, though. That's the point. Ryan says Lyonesse will 100% be faster in Lyonesse because less distance between. Well, yeah, but again, Ryan, that's node availability. We're talking about the actual yield. We had people testing the yield of those nodes, and you were getting a lot less. I'll tell you whose mining isn't maxed. Damone. Is it not? Evil Grit. Oh, I just headbutted my microphone. Sorry about that if that was loud, guys. That's freaking hilarious, Nico. I love it. Nico says, yes, no argument there. Robert says the difference was time, if I recall. It was quicker to get it from Lyonesse than Inisgalia. Travel to Inisgalia was very long. Well, from where we were located, yeah. But I do specifically remember it was somebody. I'm trying to remember their name. It wasn't Sa, I don't think. Maybe it was Sa. Sa, are you in chat? Sa would know, I think. It was Cyrus and maybe somebody else. Maybe it was Noonie? I don't know. But we did have several people who did report that. They went with 3 or 4 picks. They came back with only a quarter of an inventory, and their picks were destroyed. They went to Lyonesse with 3 to 4 picks. Their inventory was full, and they still had pick left over. I specifically remember that happening. But like I said, Mainframe changes a lot of stuff, and they don't really keep us in the inn. Maven says, does not ring a bell. I think it was... The name's on the top of my head of who specifically tested it. I can't remember. I can't remember their name exactly. But I do remember us talking about it a lot. It's kind of irrelevant, though, because out in the PvE zone, there's no risk, and you can get this. It rewards you for getting the resources. They have said they're changing the resource distribution, but this still is directly rewarding people for placing their plots in Lyonesse, for having those extra plots. And that was my main argument about that. Let's just assume I'm wrong and it is a 1-to-1, you get the same exact amount. It's kind of irrelevant because you can't exactly lock down the resources in an open area. You can go and place your plots next to that stuff. It's kind of irrelevant. So I'm willing to concede that maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're wrong, maybe we're half right, maybe a Mainframe did change it. It's kind of irrelevant, though. My whole point was that they are directly rewarding people for either upgrading their package or having extra plots now. This is the closest thing that you could even argue, in my opinion, where plots could be pay to win. Nico says, yes, everyone please go to Lyonesse for iron. It's much faster. Well, it is much faster for us because we're positioned directly next to it. And like I said, we have like literally no risk reward for going to Lyonesse. There's no opposition. When you go there with 10, 15, 20, 25 people in 3 different mining groups, you really don't have a risk there. So for us, it was probably 20% it was probably 80% faster to run to Lyonesse than it would be to run to anywhere else to get the steel. So for us, it just made the most sense to go there. Robert says, sounds like something Raz and Inferior would do. They may have. I can't remember exactly who it was. But again, it's irrelevant. I was just commenting on how they were directly rewarding people for upgrading their package now at this point. UHB says, I think it was during the time when they were testing live edits on the server for applying those things, like it's done in other games similar to Ark, etc. Maven says, thanks to an ill-fated journey there, I know the perfect place for a neck-breaking house in the territory that day has been exasperating. I can never pronounce that word correctly. Stefan says it's going to be pure chaos. You mean this event is going to be pure chaos? I'm not convinced it's going to be chaos. I think there's going to be a few different people who are on these other shards, putting down their plots, amassing stuff, because there's not really that many people even playing right now. And the people who are on Danu, maybe there'll be a little bit of strife back and forth, but I don't really see a lot of people partaking in this. And that's why I have that poll running right now. I want you guys to vote on that poll if you guys haven't yet. How many people have voted? There's 28 votes. There's 28 votes currently, and there's 61% of people are not going to, and that's just, you know, from this 28 votes that we have from this stream. And 61% of people are not going to be participating in this event. Evan says, I wonder if I build a staircase, if I could access a hidden cave. One of my bodies fell down into an attempt while attempting a rescue. Well, I'm sure you could, yeah, because you'll be able to build just like you could in the Heartland, right? So you'd be able to put stairs and stuff wherever you wanted to. I would think, Maven. Robert says, "Oh my God, Moon, that was quite the adventure. Glad to have you in the party." Stefan says, "Yeah, PvP chaos." I'm not convinced. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people showing up for it. I think there's some people who are going to capitalize on it, but I don't think it's going to be as big as Mainframe's hoping. I think it's just like kind of a, hey, throw anything out there, see what sticks type deal. They're trying to get people excited, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate them trying to hype people up, you know? Maven says, remember I kept asking the other person, no, please go back down. I just rescued you. Wait, you died again. Fudge. You and me, Moon, doing the white undie run of shame. Oh, man. I remember that happening. I remember you guys out there doing that. So they said on the next upcoming update, when they deploy the next update, all the plots are going to be wiped and you're going to be able to keep your stuff in the redeeming queue, which we talked about in the last PaxCast. Make sure you guys go listen to the previous PaxCasts. A lot of really good stuff in there. It is the perfect time to fill your inventory with pure iron ore, right? I mean, they're literally pushing people to do it. They want you to. They're egging you on right here. They want you to go take advantage of this and carry over all kinds of ill-gotten gains. It's concerning. It really is, honestly. After the maintenance on November 5th, can I still place plots in Lyonesse? This event is temporary, and once the maintenance is over on November 5th, you will no longer be able to place a plot in Lyonesse. Depending on its success, though, we might consider revisiting it during early access. You know they're going to redo it again. I'm just really looking forward to PvP coming to the Wildlands. I think that's going to be awesome. It's going to actually bring it in a more natural state. UTB says, a few to stand by, dwindling thumbs, reading in the post-action report. Raven says, I like your podcast, but I don't like your negativity, sorry to say. Well, I mean, what exactly do you have to dispute? Again, I'm honest. If you look back at all of my other podcasts and all of my other posts, it's not just negativity. I call out things that I think are bad for the game, and we criticize it. I'm not here to just, it's funny. On one side, people will call me a fanboy and I'm just shilling for the game. And on the other hand, people will call me a doomsayer and say I'm just all negative all the time. I'm honestly just telling the truth on things. These are concerns that I have about systems that are in place. It's not just about negativity. I don't just try to bring people down. But if you think that I'm wrong on something, I am more than willing to hear your opinion on these things. And if you can dispute the concerns that I have about all of the things that you could perceive as negative, I'm more than happy to engage with you on that. 100%. Stefan says, this event bringing back 10 of my clanmates before the 5th, or it is bringing back 10 of my clanmates before the 5th. And that's great. I mean, that's what I mean, I'm happy that they are stirring it up and getting people active, or trying to get people active and keep people hyped about the game. I am happy about that. Maven says, Raven, show us what you have in mind. Do better. I think that's not really necessary. I think that, I think it's justified, them thinking that I'm being negative, because the bad things that I do say are negative. The things that I do say about the things that I think are a problem, they are negative. It's not all negative, though. It's easy to think that if you hop into a stream where I have a lot of criticisms to say, but I am, like I said, I am more than willing to engage with you on any things that you think I'm wrong about. I'm all ears, honestly. I'm willing to have a good faith conversation and debate about those things. And that's what this platform's all about. I want to hear you guys' opinions about this. And it's not just me saying these things also. Look through the chat. It all speaks for itself, right? I like to give the people the voice, just like I want to give you a voice as well. Look back through the chat and look at what everyone else has to say about it. Hop on our community Discord server and read everybody's opinions about it and stuff like that. It's not just me. I'm just giving the voice, and I'm just having a debate with you guys about my concerns. I think that it's rewarding people for buying more plots. If you could dispute that, please let me know. I think it's rewarding people for being on obscure shards. They're going to be able to carry a bunch of resources over after the wipe, so they're going to have ill-gotten gains, just like with the exploits where you're able to mez fireball. I think carrying over things that people cheated into existence by standing on a wall and killing bosses over and over again, or mesmerizing fireball, which we know is an exploit. The devs have said that is not its intended feature. It's not supposed to work that way. You're not supposed to be able to do that. Much like when people were able to sneak into the back entrances of dungeons, and they were able to kill a boss, leave, have it reset, and go back in and farm it over and over again. Those are all ill-gotten gains. The reason I don't like those things is they ruin all the rest of the data downstream. Raven says, yeah, sure, you are right. It's just sometimes that it sounds all negative to me. Maybe it's just me. And I definitely do not want it to be all negative. I'm super hyped about the game. I super love the game. I'm running a very large community with a very large clan. I'm having a blast with the game. But I'm not going to bullshit you guys or lie about things that I see being issues with its development or with anything. I praise the things that deserve praise, and I will criticize the things that need criticism. And I think that's what a lot of people value this podcast for, is I'm honest. I will honestly tell you my opinions on things, and I will talk about things' merits. I'm not saying that this event has no merit. I just have my concerns about it. And that's all. I voice those concerns, and it's the concerns of a lot of people. So sorry that if it comes across as pure negativity, that's 100% not what this podcast is about. I don't want you to think that that's what this is about. I and a lot of other people just have a lot of concerns about it. Herald of the Almighty says you can't please everyone. That's true, and I don't try to. I just be myself, and I'm just honest with everybody. Honesty is the best course, honestly. That's my mentality pretty much. Ryan says, at Raven, I don't think Void has a lot of negativity. He just states his mind and how he feels. He is balanced in his views. If he likes or agrees, he will. If not, he won't. And importantly, he also, I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. He also modifies views based on argument. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to my mind can be changed. If there is a good counter argument to my concerns, I will concede that, hey, though that makes a lot of sense. I think you're right. That's why they're doing this that way or something. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm not like just coming out here to spew negativity and this is all set in stone and I'm just trying to make people upset. I don't like when people do that stuff. I love the game. I think the game is going in a great direction, honestly. I think their PR team leaves a lot to be desired. And I think that certain things they do leaves a lot to be desired, but there's a lot of great that comes out of this game too. Go watch any of my other streams, watch us play the game together. You will see I am more positivity than negativity 100% across the board, but I will always call out things that I think need to be called out. Maven says, no, I want to hear more from him because I'm curious how they would engage in it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Raven says, I understand your concern about too much steel for some people. I don't see any significant data that they get from this. I think it's just testing building in PvP in one map and fight over resources. Yeah, and it absolutely could be that, but I think there's implications. Everything has implications on the future, right? They're not wiping anything. We're getting to keep our resources. So those resources, let's say, for instance, humor me for a second here. Let's say, for instance, we were still getting the economy and the marketplaces with the next update on the 5th, right? A lot of people use steel as a currency. They use charcoal, they use steel. Some people use gold and silver as currencies. We barter with those things and we use them as a pseudo currency. If the market was to come out on the 5th and directly before it, this took place, and you have to admit, if you're playing on a server that has no players on it because it's a dead server, it's a dead shard, and you amass a bunch of steel with no risk at all, and that carries over to the next server, which is where everybody's going to be playing, you were able to get resources the easy way and carry them over, and they have direct implications on the economy now. You are having a huge influx of steel into the economy. It's the same with people exploiting and getting ill-gotten gains by exploiting and cheating in dungeons. They stand on walls, they farm the bosses, they get the sigils that they normally would not be able to acquire without cheating because they either don't have a big enough group or they don't have good enough gear to get in there to get those things. They're not using the proper systems to actually play the game. So they have these things that are flooding into the market. If the market was to come out, that market would be dead on arrival because you have massive inflation due to these mass amounts of steel that were otherwise not as easy to gain. That's my whole point with that. I don't think that can really be disputed. If you have an argument, a counter argument to that influx, that would devalue the economy. Now, luckily, it sounds like, and I say luckily because I want the update to come out, but luckily it sounds like we're not really getting the economy with this next update. It sounds like it got bumped back to a future date. But that would have direct correlation, a direct relation and effect on the economy when it would come out. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, no problem at all. I'm not here to be negative. I'm here to give people a voice and to have a dialogue with you guys. I'm not coming from a point of authority when I say these things. I have no idea. These are just my opinions on things. And when I see something that's wrong, or if I see problems, maybe that mainframe didn't even see themselves. Maybe they're watching this and they could see, hey, we didn't really think about that. Maybe we should consider doing it a little different or something. That's why we do polls on the channel, and that's why we give you guys a voice. Cautiously optimistic. Absolutely, Maven. Nico says, I don't think us criticizing a player for being in an obscure shard and therefore getting things by playing and calling it ill-gotten gains is fair either. Not for criticizing people for playing. I don't think us criticizing a player for being in an obscure shard and therefore them getting things being called ill-gotten gains. Well, no, I'm not saying people who just happen to be playing on another server. And so if somebody just happens to be playing on another server that has no people, they're just outright getting an advantage. I don't think that those are ill-gotten gains. What I'm referring to as ill-gotten gains is people who are making the conscious decision to circumvent being in a high population area and specifically going to a shard that has no people on it in order to get those ill-gotten gains. That's what I mean by ill-gotten gains. So maybe I should have clarified. People who just are naturally playing on a server or a shard, which I don't think there's that many people playing across certain other shards, because we know that the vast majority of people have already switched over to DanuRP. We've seen that demonstrated over on the mainframe of the PaxCast official Discord. Countless clans and people have said they're switching over to DanuRP over the past, month or so, even more than that probably. So I think if they were to intentionally make the conscious decision to go back to their old shard, specifically because they know there will be no risk there, that is what I would consider ill-gotten gains. It's circumventing the entire purpose of this event, which is to draw people into these conflicts, and they're avoiding that just to take advantage of the fact that this stuff's going to carry over. That's what I mean by ill-gotten gains. I'm not saying that people who just happen to play on a server that has nobody on it, sure, go play on that server and collect as much as you can. I think it's a good way for you to get a lot of resources, and I don't think those are ill-gotten gains, but they're not doing it intentionally. It's the intention behind it. It's like when people are consciously making the decision to mez fireball or exploit and cheat. Those are ill-gotten gains. If somebody just so happens to stumble upon that and then they just used it once or twice and they didn't really know what it was, and then they realized, hey, that's not actually how it's supposed to work, I don't think that those couple runs were ill-gotten gains. I think it's the conscious decision to actually go forward with exploiting or circumventing systems that are supposed to be in place. That's what I mean by that. EOTP says, it's a public game and Everyone has an opinion, and quite honest, Void has high hopes, as do most of us. Negative comes from not pointing out things folks don't want to hear. That's the thing too. I'm never going to shy away from saying my opinion. If I have an opinion on something, most of the time it's grounded in some level of reality, and I think I have a pretty sound grasp on reality and what makes sense logically. So when I have a concern about something, there's at least some merit to it. But again, I'm willing to have that back and forth. But I do think you're right. If we don't voice our opinions on the things that need criticism, and we don't have that dialogue, well, then our voices aren't going to be heard, you know? And that's why I always tell people, use F8, use the in-game systems as well. Tell the people on the Discord, tell the devs on the Discord, make sure your voice is getting heard everywhere that you possibly can. If the market comes out on the 5th, then I would wholeheartedly agree with this being a huge error by the devs, or if they don't wipe inventories when they do implement it. Yeah, Ryan, and that's my point as well. We don't really know, because the last thing we heard officially, the market and the economy is supposed to be coming. That was the last official thing that was put out in an official capacity. But some developers have whispered over on the Discord that we're not going to be getting it with this update. That's where the PR comes in, and the conflict of, you know, them saying one thing and doing another. We don't really actually know at the end of the day. We don't have any solid concrete to go off of because they have conflicting statements there. Raven, thank you for that subscription. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. If you want to join our community Discord server, we have the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server. You could type !Discord in chat. Really great group of people over there, honestly. A lot of level-headed people, great people to play any game with. Our community is not just about PAX Day. We do all kinds of stuff together. We've been playing a lot of Star Citizen while we wait for PAX Day's update, but we are primarily Paxians and citizens. That's what we primarily do, but we play all kinds of stuff together. Great to have you. Thank you for the subscription. Really appreciate that. Nico says, you still have to put the time to get said things, as opposed to people that are not playing right now. Not their fault the server is empty. Again, if you just happen to play on an empty server, I'm not saying it's ill-gotten gains. I have to be clear on making that distinction. Like, let's say you played on aUEC, and you know damn well you have an alt on another server that you know nobody's going to be playing on. If you choose to go there, I think that that's circumventing the whole purpose of this event. Do you not? Would you agree or disagree with that, Nico? If you're making the conscious decision to circumvent the conflict and strife that's going to be on the aUEC server, and you're choosing to go to an obscure server just because you want to circumvent it, you have to admit that's ill-gotten gains, right? That's rewarding people for circumventing the entire purpose of this event. It's rewarding them for not partaking in the purpose of the event. They stated up above, why are we running this test? We want to assess players' interest in PvP and building in PvP province. Well, if you're avoiding PvP and it's not really a PvP province because you made the conscious decision to go to an obscure server on purpose just to circumvent it, just to amass a bunch of people are shady. People are going to do that stuff. You know they're going to. That's my point with that. So I agree with you. I'm not saying that, hey, you happen to play on a server that has 2 people playing on it right now. How dare you go collect resources? I'm not saying that at all. I don't want that to be misconstrued. I'm not saying that at all. It's people who intentionally do this stuff, you know? There will always be people who will metagame, who will try and do their best to circumvent systems that are put in place like this. I mean, look at how many people exploit. We go on dungeon runs all the time. Well, we used to back when we were playing a lot more. Every single dungeon run we went on, there was multiple parties in we'd have like 2-3 dungeons going on at one time. And in every single one of those, there was at least 1 or 2 parties of people, not parties, like individuals who were in there mez fireballing or standing on a ledge killing things. If people can exploit and circumvent, they will. There will always be people who do that stuff. I don't condone it, but there will always be people who do that stuff. Stefan says, I get what you're saying, but they can do that at the moment in the Heartlands because their server is dead. Right, but the entire purpose of this event is to have that strife. So they're going to be going out there, there's more nodes, they're going to be going out there, putting down a plot, and just walking 5 feet, getting all of the steel from many more nodes in a much more dense environment, walking 5 feet back, putting it all into a chest, walking 5 more feet. You can't dispute that that's going to be a much faster way of going about doing it. And let's say at the very end, or they do die once or twice, and they're wearing steel gear, the amount of steel that they're going to have acquired by the time on those servers that they get killed, they're going to have so much stockpiled I just think that could be an issue, that stuff carrying over. If they implemented the market without a wipe, that'd be an issue in my mind. Yeah, and we will see if they're going to do a wipe when we do finally get the market. I really hope that they do wipe it. I just want my character, Robert says, to get a tan. Whenever I have to walk the underwear of shame, I'm afraid of being called out as a ghost by the Blood Brothers, Hollow Aegis. That's funny, Robert. Raven says, totally agree with your view. I totally agree with your view. I just don't think it will do much with the markets, or when the markets will be added. I think they will wipe inventories with the markets, or maybe it will be with the update after. I hope so. I hope so. But again, I like to talk about things that are currently happening, and I can only go based on face value. The last official thing we heard was that the markets are coming with this next update. The last official post that they did on their website and through the official capacity was saying that with our first content update, you will be getting the markets and the economy. A developer did say over on their Discord, on a general chat or something, they put a message saying that potentially it's not. Someone said, Coloco said that it's not coming with it, but our last official capacity post that we got was saying that we were getting it. So you can understand my concern there. We just honestly don't know, and that's because of the lack of PR. And that's where I think a little more transparency with the PR would go a long way. I do think they need to wipe it, though. If they don't wipe the stuff before we get the markets, you agree the markets would be dead on arrival, right? Let's catch up on some more chat here. This is good stuff, guys. I really do appreciate your guys' opinions on this stuff. Nico says the only currency in the game is time. If you put it in, I'm not calling it ill-gotten gains. I'm sorry. Sure, if you're exploiting walls, you can call it that, but not mining, surely. So you're saying that if people are exploiting and mez fireballing and stuff, you can call it ill-gotten gains, but not mining? Again, if I go and switch to a server that I know has nobody on it, simply just to amass steel to carry it over, it's a little shady. What would you call that? You think that that's just normal gameplay? I mean, I come from an RP server though, so maybe I'm a little biased on it. I come from an RP server where we role play. We don't use meta information. We don't use outside information to do stuff. We keep stuff in game as much as possible. Sure, we obviously all chat on Discord and stuff, but we RP that's through Raven. We come from a role play server. So anybody that's metagaming or you're doing something like switching servers in order to gain a bunch of resources more easily, that they know damn well. And here's the thing too, Nico, my main concern is they're going to be able to carry those resources from those other shards over to the RP shard. So it directly is affecting role players who maybe don't want a metagame like that. That's my main concern. These resources that are going to be gained on these lesser populated servers that you know people are going to go there specifically just to amass steel with no opposition, they're going to be able to bring that over and directly affect role players who aren't willing to do that. That's my main concern. But I see what you're saying. Technically, they're just going and mining. Sure, absolutely. But if it's with the intention, and I know it's hard to prove intention, but if it's with the intention of, hey, I'm not going to play on the US East Dano RP server because I know there's going to be a lot of conflict there because that's where everybody's playing. I'm going to go on insert server here that the population is 0 on, and I'll have no opposition whatsoever. Now I can put down a plot 5 feet from the steel nodes, the pure iron nodes, and I can collect as many as I want over the next, a week or two until it comes out. And I can just have 90 chests filled with steel, and that'll all get carried over. And then I can take that to the Nyx RP server, which is where all the RPers are going to be. And I know that they were all fighting over the resources, taking, proper actions in the event. You see that train of thought? That's my worry with that. Because people who are exploiting and stuff, who are cheating and exploiting in the game through Mez Fireball, they're going to want to do that stuff to have that unfair advantage. It's all about the unfair advantage, And like I said, this whole conversation came back to them rewarding players for purchasing more plots. If you have 4 plots right now, and they all have stuff that you cannot condense, and you want to make sure that all your stuff gets carried over, well, you better buy another account then, right? You better buy another account. or it's rewarding for people who just didn't use all their plots. Or let's say you have one plot and you can't afford to lift it because you want all your stuff to be carried over. Well, you better upgrade your account. Better upgrade that account, boy, so that you can get that other plot so you can go and take advantage of this stuff. Otherwise, hey, you're not going to be able to partake in the event. It just seems a little odd. I don't know. What do you guys think about that with the whole plot thing? Raven says at Ryan, they can add the markets and they will see the exploits right away, fix those, then set everything to 0. I agree. That's what we've talked about before in previous PaxCast. That's exactly what they need to do. You're 100% on right there. Ya says, I think they will bring us the market. There will be a full wipe. I'd like to think so too, but we just don't know. But I'd like to think so as well. Maven says, watch your roofs. Raven says, I'm in a great clan community, but thanks. Well, our community, the Cheeky Buggers United, is not just about PAX Day. It's about all kinds of stuff. It's just hanging out. It's cool people. You can join over there without actually joining the Order of the Blood Brothers. You don't have to join our clan. We've made that distinction where people can join the community and they don't have to actually join our clan. It's just for people who like-minded people playing all kinds of games. Because there's a lot of people who are taking a break from PAX Day right now. They're playing Star Citizen. They're playing a lot of other games. And it gives you a place where you can find cool people to play games with. But I just wanted to extend the invitation. Obviously, you clearly don't have to. Baven says, if you come back home and your meat is missing, it's too late. Nico says, if we're making scenarios where people are trying to exploit iron by making an alt elsewhere, sure, enjoy leveling up again to make pickaxes, I guess. Yeah, and there's something to be said about that. But I know that, like I said before, I previously had said this, there's a lot of people who already have characters on these other servers, and they chose to come to the Danu RP server because it was the last place that even had active members and communities. So for them, it's rewarding them to just go log back into their other character on the other shard. If I wanted to go over there, sure, I'd have to level everything up, but that's even more so rewarding them for trying to circumvent this event, is my point. In the end, I don't think this event will amount to much. I agree too. I really don't think it will. I really, really don't think it's going to amount to much. So I don't think there's much consequence in any of it. But again, I will always tell you guys my honest opinions on things. I don't think people will go there, Nico says, even in Danu. Well, I do think people will go there in Danu. I think they're going to go there just for the conflict on Danu, even if they don't have the expectation of being able to acquire anything. You can go there tomorrow and it will be decent. Let's catch up on some more chat here. Nico says, it might have some curious souls at peak, but not a lot. With max 500 players worldwide, come on. I do think a lot of them are concentrated in Danu RP, though, to be honest. But even then, I think it's a bit strange how they're doing it. Even then, with a max of 500, let's say there is no one even there. It just seems kind of weird to allow us to go there. They say their intentions are to collect data on if people want to do this PvP and build in the PvP zones and stuff. I don't think they're really going to get that data. So it's really just kind of allowing people to farm steel unhindered, essentially. Just here's a metric shit ton of steel. Go fill your coffers. I don't know. It just seems a little weird. UTB says, at Maven, I'm sure I carried a few pack mule wagons by. I filled my cup till I ran over. Maven says, then look up and wave. Nico says, this is Tupper, by the way. I'm on the RP with you. If you're banking on making alts to switch servers later, dear Lord, man, not one is putting in that time. I barely see people on Danu. Yeah, and I'm not saying that people are going to be doing that. I'm just saying it's a concern of mine that that opportunity exists, if that makes sense. If that opportunity exists, you know there will be some people who will exploit it or abuse the system and circumvent the whole event in order to do that. Again, that was my only real concern there. And the fact that they're rewarding people for having those extra plots or acquiring extra plots. UTB says it can be done. Yes, it is right. Not really, but in the end, I don't turn around at the start of a race of a game to drive and the oncoming traffic to crash them. Rebecca, how's it going? Welcome in to the stream. I agree, Void. It's kind of a sneaky money grab. Oh, for the plots? Yeah, that's honestly my main concern, because again, all the stuff in game doesn't really matter. We can have concerns till we turn blue in the face about the event, or people, I mean, even about people exploiting and stuff. You can have concerns till you turn blue in the face. It's not really going to mean anything with due time, right? I'm still going to voice my opinions on those and the opinions of other people and the concerns of other people. I'm still going to make sure that stuff is heard. But at the end of the day, Rebecca, you're absolutely right. The sneaky little money grab almost is how it could be seen with the whole, let's say placing one plot. Everybody can place one plot in Lyonesse, does not consume your max plots. You get to build out there. Now I think it's fair, a lot more fair. Because now anybody can go place one plot out there, and it doesn't matter if you're a high roller or if you have tons of money to just purchase new accounts and stuff. One plot in Lyonesse, every person gets one. Go place it. Go take part in the event. There you go. Now you can have some fun out there, and you don't need to worry about upgrading your account or how much money you have in your bank account. I think that would have been a much better way of doing it. And Rebecca, that would have avoided the whole thing with people calling it a sneaky money grab. Maharlika, how's it going, brother? Welcome into the stream, man. Hey, I hope you're doing great today. Hope your shoulder's doing good. Hope you are having a great day. Thanks for stopping by the stream, buddy. He says it's sus in my opinion. I love the game, but not participating in that Lyonesse event for the sake of the game. And I think a lot of people are in that same boat, Maharlika. I think a lot of people are dead set on waiting for the update, and that's perfectly fine. Again, if people want to partake in this, go have fun. I want people to have fun playing the game. If partaking in this event is going to be fun for you, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I may pop out there with some people. We may go do it and stream it just to have some fun and make some content for you guys. I'm not too sure yet, but I totally agree with you. If people want to enjoy this event, go and have fun and enjoy this event. I'm not telling people that they shouldn't. I'm not just shitting on the game or anything like that. I think that people should go do this event if they want to have fun. We have our own RP event upcoming as well, which is going to get some people active and have some fun over on our server down in our town. But Maharlika says he's not going to be participating in that Lyonesse event for the sake of the game. Raven says, see you next time. Keep up with your PaxCast. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Hey, and I really do appreciate the good faith dialogue that you brought here. You didn't just come in and throw a bunch of accusations. I love having good faith conversations with people, so I really appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in chat at the next PaxCast when we get closer to the release of this. But thanks for stopping by, brother. Thanks for the subscription. I really appreciate that. Hit that like button on the way out, man. Let everybody know, let YouTube know that you really like the content we're putting out here. I look forward to chatting with you and having some dialogue in the future as we get more content to talk about here. So thanks for stopping by. The cat died, our contestant winner from last month, stopping in. Good to see you, Cat Died. He says, hey, bro, kind of disappointed in the Lyonesse event. Kind of seems pointless with no mechanics on purpose. It's weird. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and a lot of people do as well. You can see the poll here. 62% of people here are not going to be partaking in this event, and that is a poll with 32 votes now. So 32 votes and 62% of people are not going to be partaking in that event. It's an interesting time right now, to say the least. It's definitely an interesting time. So they say this event is temporary. Once the maintenance on November 5th is over, you will no longer be able to place a plot in Lyonesse. Depending on its success, that we might consider running this event again or during early access. We are looking forward to your feedback regarding this event. We have opened a dedicated thread on Discord with a few questions for you to answer. So everybody make sure you go answer these questions. They have a thread on their Discord. Make sure that you guys are answering whatever is in this thread. I'm going to, after this stream ends here, I'm going to go check out what is in that thread. I'm going to answer all those questions. Voicing your opinion here is not enough. We need to make sure that we're partaking in all of their threads, all of their posts, everything, and that we're letting them know exactly how we feel about this stuff. I do like the idea. I want to end this on a positive note here. I do like the idea of this event. I do like the idea of events in game. I like the idea of events that are put on by players. I like the idea of events that are put on by developers and game masters, so to speak. There was a game like Crypt Realm, or I don't even know what it was, some like MMO that was coming out where they have crypt keepers or tomb lords or something like that, where they're in-game developers and they're moderators and stuff. And they actually put on unique events that are maybe even one-time things in the world, mysteries and all kinds of stuff. I forgot the name of that game, but it sounds really cool to have stuff like that. I am all for events. Mainframe, don't let this, I doubt that you would let this stop you from doing anything, but don't let this stop you from doing events in the future. I like the idea. I like where you're going with this. I like the idea of these types of events. They say, get a cool screenshot or videos from your building adventures in Lyonesse. Feel free to share them in the same thread. Get prepared for battle, the mainframe team. And then they show a map here of Lyonesse. I love the idea of events in game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have different events in the future. Maybe when they first release their world bosses, they do a big event. Everybody's coming together, and we're doing all kinds of stuff. Maybe it's a PvP event, maybe it's PvE event, maybe we have to track them down and complete things as a community. Who knows, really? I really love the idea of events. I'm looking forward to the future of PAX Day. I'm looking forward to engaging in all of this stuff with you guys, not just here on the channel, but also in game over on our Discord, having fun with you guys. UTB says, I see 32 votes on the poll. Hit that thumbs up to match it, folks. I appreciate that, UTB. I'm really looking forward to the future of PAX Day, guys. It's going to be fun to have this adventure with you guys. This next reset, we're taking it as if it is a new game, essentially. I'm doing a 30 days of PAX Day. We're going to be streaming a metric shit ton of the game. There's going to be so many people coming back. The servers are going to fill up so fast. It's going to be absolute pure chaos, and I am really looking forward to it. I'm going to have a blast with everybody. If you guys want to join our community, type !Discord in chat. You'll get a link over to the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server. That is the home of the Order of the Blood Brothers. That's where we hang out. That's where we're stationed out of. You do not need to join the Order of the Blood Brothers in order to join our community or even become a verified member. If you want to play Star Citizen with us, but you have your own clan in PAX Day, you do not need to join the Order of the Blood Brothers to come over there, get verified, submit your application, type ! Website in chat. That'll take you over to our website, which is www.cheekybugger.net, where you can submit your very own application to join the Cheeky Buggers United or to join the Order of the Blood Brothers. We've made that distinction because we want to have outreach to other people in the community during these low times of content for PAX Day, giving us something else to play and to do as a community. But yes, get your votes in pretty soon here. I'm going to end the poll, and we're going to see just how many people are going to be attending this event personally, if they want to attend the event. And we're going to see just how many people are not going to be attending, how many people are going to be attending this event, so we can get a good idea, at least of this small case here, of how many people are wanting to go forward with this event. I do think this event is going to be unique. I think it's going to be fun for the people who are partaking in it, whether we all partake or not. It's going to be fun for people who do, I believe. I think people are going to have a lot of fun with it. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys who are participating in it, what you guys have to say about it going forward. Make sure you use an F8, get all that information over to mainframe, so that way they know our opinions on this stuff going forward. Guys, we are getting very close to 1,000 subscribers. We are pushing towards 900. If you are not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Help us to reach that 1,000 mark so we can keep bringing you guys PaxCast and all of our other fun content, our RP content, our Star Citizen content, all of that stuff. Please subscribe. Help us reach that 1,000 mark. We're going to be doing a 24-hour subathon once we do reach it. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We're going to put several hours on the clock, and you guys can extend that clock further and further by doing things like interacting with Tangia, gifting memberships, becoming a channel member yourself. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if I can make it 24 hours. We'll see. We'll see just how far we can get. If you guys have any final thoughts on any of this content here that has to do with this event, speak now or forever hold your peace. No, I'm just kidding. We can always chat about this stuff in the future, in future podcasts as well. We're very chill here. We don't have to stay on topic. We could talk about anything during these, although PaxCast is dedicated to the updates and the updated information that we have around PAX Day. UTB says, it's also like voting, being part of the decision-making, allowing you to provide feedback, then you can make a difference. Absolutely, yeah. That's what I'm all about here. Ange, how's it going? Welcome into the stream. Well, the end of the stream. You're going to have to go back and listen to all of our thoughts on this. Ange, last minute here. What are your thoughts on this event? I brought up some pretty big concerns. Some people took it as me being just negative, but I'm just telling the truth here with my concerns on some of these things. Let me know what you think, Ange, and anyone else, if you have any final thoughts about this event. Voice those opinions now, and make sure you vote, Ange, in the poll that I have going right now. 34 votes are tallied. I'm going to leave it open for a little bit longer here. Ange says, hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Yeah, we've been playing a lot of Star Citizen. We're covering CitizenCon. We've been playing a little bit of Minecraft. We've just been hanging out with the community, having a good time, enjoying each other's company over on the Cheeky Buggers United Community Discord server. I hope you've been doing great as well, Ange. But let us know, vote. Let us know what you think about this upcoming thing. If anyone has any final thoughts, let it rip, guys. EOTB says, shipping void, no dose pills for every time he says, not sure if he can make 24 hours. That's funny, man. And says, I'm kind of excited about it, but I wish they had tested it sooner instead of waiting until the last minute. Yeah, it would have been cool if it was sooner when there was actually a population in the game. I did have a couple of concerns with it, though, like people specifically joining obscure servers just to have no contestant and then amass metric shit tons of steel the easy way. That's a concern of mine. They get to then bring that over to the new RP server, even if it's not on an RP server now. That's a concern. So some people have several concerns going forward with this. I feel like it's kind of rewarding people for either buying a new account to have an extra plot to place it in Lyonesse to partake in this, or upgrading their account in order to have new plots to be able to place there. I think they should have just given everybody one plot. Go out there, have one plot, place it down free of charge, only for this event. I think that would have been a much better way of doing it. So that's another concern of mine. It seems a little bit cash grabby, but we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Like, what if you already have all 4 of your plots down and you can't afford to lift any because you're protecting all of your materials? You can't partake in the event, I guess, unless you purchase another account. That would seem, I don't know. But let me know what you guys think about those things. Nico says the correct view is that it was uncontested until now. Now some people are looking at Lyonesse again. I could see where you're coming from with that, yeah. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at it, or at least over on the populated realms. But in a lot of realms, you got to admit, I mean, it's been uncontested. And letting them place a plot down right next to it just makes the runs that much shorter. I mean, if you were as close as you possibly could be to the Lyonesse steel as it currently is, being able to build only in the Heartlands, you're probably cutting your travel time down by like 75% or more. Because if you could place a plot right next to it, I think it's going to exponentially increase the yield. And says valid points. But I do agree, Nico, on the populated shards of like Danu and stuff. I think there will be some strife there, and I think that's where they're going to be getting that data from. But for sure, and don't bullshit me, for sure there's going to be people who are doing exactly what I said before, where they're going to be like, hey, guys, let's go back to our other server. There's going to be nobody on it. We'll just get all kinds of free stuff. They're going to do that. Come on, Nico. Admit it. They're going to do that. But I think you're right, though. There's going to be some people who are partaking in the event in good faith, in the right way, going into the PvP zone on the server, whichever server they are playing on. Miss Darth, member for 2 months. Thank you for your continued support. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, Miss Darth, for being a member for 2 months. Nice. Your star now is upgraded for having been a member for 2 months. Thank you so much for the continued support. I really appreciate it. Without you guys, this stuff would not be possible. I do this full time, bringing you guys the news on all kinds of stuff, bringing you guys fun gameplay videos and streams with everybody. So I really, truly appreciate it. Huge shout out to all of my channel members. I actually have a thing at the end of my streams and my videos now. It's like a credits system, and it will show off all of the channel members. UTB says, or they should put a delay on the availability of the resources, like by a week besides what's on the players. I don't know if that would work. I mean, maybe. If I'm understanding it correctly, maybe. I don't know. Nico says, even if some people do that, Void, to what point? The market that doesn't exist, all hoping it will carry over to the server that they can fence it. Well, it's not hoping it will carry over to the new server. It guaranteed will carry over to the new server. We know for 100, they've even told us in this post, the stuff will carry over to the redeeming queue. So we know for a fact it's going to carry over to the new server. Think about it like this, though, too. It's not just about the market, Nico. It's not only about the actual economy and inflation and the real currency being devalued. It's also about not having any issues with resources for the foreseeable future. If steel does stay the prominent resource and they're able to fill 50 chests with it during these next 2 weeks, uncontested on an obscure server, and that was their intention, they don't need to worry about losing their gear. They can go and partake in all of this stuff in the future in PvP, and it doesn't matter if they die and lose their gear. Okay, I got 50 chests filled with pure steel, pure iron. It doesn't matter to me. Whereas people who didn't circumvent it and they did it the right way on a populated server over on Danu, do you see what I'm talking about now? Nico says the iron yield is something you as a player should have been doing since the start, not the final weeks before the patch. Well, right, and it's devaluing all of that iron and steel that you've been accumulating doing the long run. It's devaluing all of that as well. It's making it to where all of that iron and steel that you've acquired the hard way by making that long run, which is potentially a 90% longer run if you think about it, because now you're going to be able to place plots right next to it. The rate in which they're going to be accumulating steel devalues the long way that you had to accumulate steel. Let's say it took you 2 weeks to get 50 chests full of steel. It could take them 2 days to get 50 chests full of steel because they can run 5 feet, get all the nodes, walk back 5 feet, dump it all in a chest. So it's devaluing all the work that you've done as well. It's kind of like what World of Warcraft does. World of Warcraft has catch-up mechanics where people will do stuff the hard way, and then they will make it easier in the future for the people who follow in their footsteps. To me, that devalues the achievements that you've earned because you did it the hard way and got the same achievement as someone who did it the easy way. What hard way? They still have to do it. They still have to put in the time. Yeah, but it's a fraction of the time. You have to understand that, right? Like I'm not crazy on that. It's a fraction of the time. If it takes you an hour to fill your inventory before this event, and now people are able to fill their inventory in 15 minutes or 10 minutes, it's devaluing that time that you put in. That's what I mean by that. So the game is a marathon, not a sprint. Whatever you can amass in 2 weeks is not going to mean a lot to me. Well, it will if you're not partaking in circumventing the hard way by going in to an obscure server and filling 50 chests with steel in a fraction of the time that it took you to do it. Is it a fraction of the time now with people in Lyonesse again? Well, again, if you're making the conscious decision to go to a server that has nobody on it, if you have characters on a couple different servers and you're like, I know there's going to be people in Danu, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go to insert other server that has nobody on it, place a plot down right next to the nodes, and get steel 100 times faster than Nico was doing before. It's devaluing all of it. And says, your point is valid, but that's assuming people will come back specifically to do that. Exactly. Yeah. And that's where my concern comes from. I feel like you're taking my concern out of context a little bit. You're acting as if, or you're taking it almost as if I'm saying that everybody's going to be doing this. I'm saying that the fact that that is a possibility is the concern. Because I make a lot of like different servers for things, I always make sure that I sure up loopholes in things, and I make sure that it's fair for everybody who did stuff in the past and who did stuff in the future. You don't want to devalue people's efforts because now you've spent 500 hours amassing steel and someone's going to do it in a fraction of that time. All of the work that you put into getting all that steel and stuff has now been devalued. That's my point, is that the fact remains that it is a possibility for people to do that. That's my concern. I'm not saying that everybody's going to do it. As for devaluing the time you put in versus other players, I don't really see that as an issue, honestly. Your mileage may vary. I don't care that much, though. Well, that comes back to kind of like pay to skip. That's the reason I don't play games with microtransactions that have pay to skip, because if I'm doing something the hard way and earning it in game, because that's what a lot of pay to win games like to fall back on is, and I'm not saying this is pay to win, this is just an example. If you go and play a game where they have pay to win and pay to skip, and they always like to say, you can earn everything in game. Yeah, but if it's going to take me 2 weeks to acquire something that you can pay $2.99 to get a skip for, that greatly devalues that 2 weeks of time that I've put in. My 2 weeks of time was worth $2.99. It incentivizes you to open your wallet. This is kind of incentivizing people. I mean, I get it. They want to incentivize people to go do this event, but I think there is the opportunity for people to circumvent it and go and devalue all of your time and efforts. It's the same thing with us earning sigils the hard way, which is the normal way to acquire sigils. Amass a group, get together, go in, kill the bosses together, share the loot amongst the people, the clan members who went on that run. It took more people, it took more coordination, it took more gear, it took more skill. And now you have people who go in and just stand on a ledge and stab, 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 get it themselves, stab, 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 get it themselves. That devalues all of the work that is done by the people who are doing it legitimately because they wanted to exploit or circumvent. The fact that that remains is my concern. That's where my concern comes from, is the fact that that is an option and that is going to directly be carried over into our servers in the future. It would be like if the economy came and they didn't wipe and people had all of those sigils and all those items that they crafted by cheating. That directly affects you. It devalues your time. It almost incentivizes you. It's like you'd be crazy not to go and exploit, right? You're losing out on all kinds of stuff if you don't go Mez Fireball. I'm just going to come out and say it. If you're not Mez Fireballing, I don't Mez Fireball. Nobody in my clan gets it. We don't promote that. I don't tell people to go Mez Fireball. I reprimand people when they do because I'm not about that. I think it ruins the data. But it's rewarding you for exploiting or circumventing. That's my whole point. I don't like when things like that exist. To me, it devalues my time, my effort, my energy, and makes it worth a lot less because you're kind of silly if you're not Mez Fireballing. You could have 5 people all in 5 different dungeons Mez Fireballing, acquiring sigils 5 times as fast compared to taking a group of 15 people into a dungeon and earning them 5 times slower and having to share them with 15 people. Do you see my point on that? John, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, buddy. Nico says what Ange said, and Ange said, yeah, so Ange said your point is valid, but that's assuming people are going to come back specifically to do that. Exactly, and that's my only concern, guys. I'm not saying the event is worthless because of it. I'm not saying anything else. Is that I am pointing out a loophole that exists that people could use to then devalue the effort and time that I've done in the game. They're going to be able to acquire materials much, much faster by coming in late to the game or specifically targeting places that are going to be low population. It's metagaming, essentially, at its finest. Let's see, we got some more chats here. Nico says, if it was already a full-fledged MMO, sure, you'd have those people, not here. There definitely will be those people, though, Nico. I mean, if we didn't have those people already, people wouldn't be Mez Fireballing. You 100% will have those people who will be metagaming. 100%, I guarantee you, because we've already seen it. We've already seen that people are willing to Mez Fireball by themselves to amass. I think Raz told me he knows for a fact that one guy has like 100 and some of the sigils to make the pleasure pants. One person Mez Fireballing and exploiting by themselves has over 100, I think it was 100 or 120 sigils to make the pleasure pants by themselves. You know how hard it would be to acquire that many as a group with 15 people doing it legitimately? That completely devalues and ruins the entire economy by having those exploits. All I'm doing is calling out those exploits that they exist. Hopefully they can come up with a way to shore that up and make it to where those roundabout ways to do that stuff and those exploits don't exist in the future. That's why I'm calling them out. I'm not like saying that everybody's going to come back specifically to do that. I think that's being taken out of context here. Yaz says, we are going to get a bunch of new ores. No one will be after steel. Do we know that for sure, though, Ya? I mean, I know eventually we're going to have new stuff, but are we getting that in this next patch? I don't think there's been anything put out that says we're going to be getting new resources come this new patch for sure. I think we might be getting them. I have an inclination to believe that we will. But again, I can only go based on what they have told us, what Mainframe has told us. UTB says, let's also hope we see new building materials and items that require being on and collecting those items, new nodes not in the game now. Well, I think we know we're going to be getting new building materials in terms of like archways and stuff. We don't know for sure that we're going to be getting new resources come this next patch. Ryan says, you don't have an issue if in live someone lives in the PvP area though, right? That's a little different though, Ryan. I mean, come on, that's not a counter to that. No, if somebody wants to live in the PvP area and there is the ability to siege them and they're not secure on their property and it's an actual full-fledged PvP system, I don't see a problem with that because that's going to be what the wilderness is, right? We're going to be able to build those baronies out there. There's going to be sieges. There's going to be stealing from each other. There's going to be risk reward. My whole point is that there's a way in which people who have malicious intents can circumvent this event, take advantage of it, and amass large amounts of materials, which is devaluing all the work that everybody has put in over these months. That's my point, is that route does exist. Nico says the Mez Fireball is still a good metric for mainframe because the dot should wake them up. And they have stated that that's the case, Nico. They know about it. They have known about that since day one. They came out and said that that is an exploit. It is still good info to have to balance the magic system. I don't really think it is good info to have because it's ruining all the data downstream about acquiring and killing bosses. In the database, I'm sure they have numbers to show how many times bosses were killed, how fast they were killed, how many people the boss killed before the boss was killed, all of this data. All that data is screwed up now because the time to kill is drastically reduced by you Mez fireballing and exploiting. I don't know why they didn't fix that day one, though, to be honest. Nico says, we'll see what they do with new spells. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the new spells. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff in there. And if that dot starts breaking Mez. Yeah, well, they said day one that dots are supposed to break Mez. They have come out and they've said that. And says, I think the exploits are important to find and bring to light. Absolutely. I 100% agree. I always look for exploits. I F8 them. I report them. I make sure it's heard. And then I don't abuse them because then I want to collect good data down the road. It's the same reason on the alpha, I was standing on rocks and killing bears. And that was really the turning point for me where I thought about, this is only a couple day event, a weekend event or a week event. I need to get the most out of this testing phase. So I'm going to stand on this rock and I'm going to stab this bear in the face. That is an exploit. And I found out a way that they could fix that. Make the bear evade like in World of Warcraft, make the bear run away, make the bear able to get up there. There's multiple ways that they could fix that. But then since then, I don't abuse that mechanic anymore. Can you still do that stuff? Absolutely. Have I hidden on a rock to avoid dying? Absolutely. I've jumped on a rock to avoid dying and then use it to escape. I don't really think it's a good way to do combat though, because you don't know how strong the gear is. You don't know how strong the spells are. If the things aren't able to fight back, the time to kill is all skewed. There's so much data that can be messed up by it. But Ange goes on to say, bring those things to light before the beta comes out. That way, fingers crossed, the devs clean it up before the game is out of beta. Absolutely, and that's the entire intent behind finding those exploits, not abusing those exploits. Find them, report them, don't abuse them. But there's a lot of people, even to this day, there's people Mez fireballing right now on the server. I guarantee you there's people Mez fireballing in dungeons, collecting tons of sigils, especially now that they know that those sigils are going to be carried over. They're hoping that there's going to be the economy so they can corner the market on 120 pleasure pants. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Yaz says the ancient tree may be our next tier of wood. Interesting. You're talking about those fir branches? Maybe. Those are coming from what I thought. Yeah, it very well may be. And the reason I think that it may be is because if you look at some of the other skills that they took out, like crossbows, they said it was too early for that. And they removed the next tier of leather because they thought it was too early for that, but they left in the fir branches, did they not? Those are probably going to be used for something come the next patch. That's theorycraft, though. We don't have any confirmation of that. Nico says, if anything, this event is going to slow down people from farming pure iron unimpeded mountains of molehills. I think it's going to do the opposite. And the reason I think it's going to do the opposite, again, is because there's going to be people metagaming who are going to circumvent the event itself, and they're going to uncontested put up a plot directly next to the mining resources out in Lyonesse and take 10 steps to mine bucos of iron, of pure iron. The travel time is the biggest thing in the game, really. It doesn't take that long to mine the nodes and fill your inventory. It's waiting for the resources to respawn and the travel time. Those are the two biggest things. Lyonesse, it has a much higher density of those resources. And if the travel time is cut even in half, you're getting resources twice as fast. So I think it's going to allow people to farm pure iron exponentially faster. Exponentially faster. You're going to be farming these resources. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. And I see where you're coming from as well, too. We don't have to agree on things, and that's the nice thing about these dialogues. As long as we're both in good faith having these back and forths, like we did with Raven, I'm more than happy to hear your guys' thoughts. And we don't have to agree on everything. That's the beauty of it, John says, my opinion I'm just playing the game. I know it's a learning thing, but I am unable to beat anything above wolves with tier 2 equipment. That would be a problem if I had access. That would not be a problem if I had access to tier 3. That's true. And a lot of people are just playing the game. But again, I don't bring this stuff to light to try and shit on the game. I don't bring this stuff to light to try and, I don't know, insert any negative connotation here. I bring it to life because it's a concern. It is a roundabout loophole in the system that I just want to point out with you guys. I feel like we're dwelling on it a lot, and I don't want it to get very heated amongst anybody in the community. Again, this is not just a negative take on it. My whole point here, I've pointed out a lot of exploits and circumventings of things in the past, and no one really seemed to have a problem with those. People are kind of hung up on this one for some reason. And I don't want anyone to walk away from here thinking any negative thoughts. I want to make sure we're ending this on a positive note. I love having these conversations with you guys. I don't want this to get ended on a negative note by any means. But I know exactly where you're coming from, John. You're just playing the game. Exactly. And that's why I want to bring to light the concern that I have about the circumventing of the resource acquisition. UTB says that comes with a balance of NPCs to scale the number of people doing it, like bears, given real life, and a bear versus a hunter, single looking to kill one, scale is broken. Oh, you mean like with trying to fight a bear? Yeah, a bear would mess you up. Yeah, I don't know if you should be able to kill a bear by yourself, like in real life. But again, it is a game. So not everything is going to be a one-to-one carryover from real life. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of really good opinions and a lot of really good concerns were brought up here today. These are just my concerns and some of the concerns that I've seen from my community and over on the Discord about the event. I ultimately think the event will be a lot of fun for people. I think the event will be a good event for them to get whatever data they are wanting to get. Hey, at the end of the day, Mainframe's the devs. I'm just some guy on the internet talking about my opinion and the opinion of others. This is a platform for us all to come together to talk about our concerns with things. And that's all we've done here today. I don't want anyone to leave here thinking that this is a negative podcast or anything like that. We talk about tons of cool stuff about the game. I'm not going to shy away. I will never compromise my integrity and shy away from having these conversations with you guys, though. I will always bring the important stuff that I feel is important to you guys, and we can have these dialogues about them. John says, oh, I'm not disagreeing, but if the only way I can get the resource that I want, the path of least resistance, plus considering that I have a high percentage of failing, yes, I don't cheat. I just hunt flax. Well, exactly. That's my point is, a lot of us, we're gathering these resources the quote unquote legitimate way. And I don't like when my time is devalued. I like when games respect my time at the end of the day. Cooter says, issue I have with it, the wording of the announcement, the 24-hour notice, the event just seems like an impulse. Well, I mean, Cooter, let's be honest, a lot of their stuff seems like an impulse, at least the things that they're telling us about. A lot of it does seem like impulses, last-minute notifications. They don't give us a lot of notice for a lot of things. So I'm not too surprised with that. But Cooter Pooter goes on to say, the event just seems like an impulse more without looking at the pros and cons beforehand. And that very well may be the case. At the end of the day, none of this really truly matters as long as they get this stuff fixed. If this was live right now and they had an event like this and they only gave people 24-hour notice and the stuff was going to carry over and there was an economy and there was all these things, every single person in chat, I think, would agree with me 100% on what I'm saying. I think the main, that's just a guess. I don't know if I'm wrong on that and you don't disagree and you would still disagree with me on it. That's perfectly fine. But I think a lot more people would have concern and have issue with it if it was live. I think people are having a lot more lenience with these exploits and these circumventing and these loopholes and stuff because it's not live yet. And I can totally understand that and respect that. Absolutely. At the end of the day, if this was live, it would have much more implications on the real world and things like that. It would be flooding the economy with all kinds of stuff. It would be breaking balance. So at the end of the day, is it really that big of a deal? I don't think so. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But like I said at the beginning, and like I'll say here at the end, I will always tell you guys the truth. I'll always bring you guys my honest opinion on things, good, bad, or indifferent. If it's good, I will praise it. If it's bad, I will criticize it. John says, right now, I'm just collecting pure iron as I haven't seen a soul in PvP area. I think the crickets must have short swords. Yes, and going back to what Nico was saying before, people are uncontested doing exactly what you're doing right now, John, collecting pure iron. But the difference is that run is about to become much, much shorter. That run, John, if you partake in this, you'll be able to put a plot directly next to all of the pure iron nodes out in Lyonesse, and you'll be able to take 5 steps to get to them. So it's about to get a lot faster. A lot faster. Now, sure, on Danu, there's gonna be contested stuff there. We may even partake in that. Who knows? We'll see. It's gonna be fun for those who partake in it, though. If anybody has any final thoughts on any of this stuff here, I want to end it on a positive note. But if you guys have any final thoughts about this, please let me know. More than happy to have this dialogue with you guys. I love chatting with you guys. Thank you for everyone who has stopped by the stream here today. It's really great that we can come together as a community and talk about this stuff. Whether we agree on it or not doesn't really matter at the end of the day. We just like to have this friendly dialogue back and forth. Ya says they put the plot too close, the node will disappear. Well, not in the quarries though, Ya. There are quarries out there that are filled with pure iron as well, like 10 nodes in each of the quarries. I think people are going to do that though, Ya. I think they are going to troll by getting rid of the wild nodes. But the quarries are going to be the hot contested zones. Those quarries are going to be on fire, man. I wonder if they're going to be increasing, because they have this thing where they don't normally tell us everything that's coming. I wonder if they're going to be increasing the node respawn rate or something like that as well, and just not even tell us. I would not be surprised, to be honest. But let's go ahead. If you have not yet voted in the poll, make sure you get your final votes in here. I'm going to be ending the poll in a minute, and we're going to see everyone's intentions if they're going to be partaking in this event or not. And this is just personally if you guys are going to be taking a part in it. The Cat Died says, I am changing my vote. The Knights Templar will be raising a castle in Lyonesse. I've convinced you. I've convinced you to do the event, huh? You guys going to be over on Danu RP? And I'm happy that you guys are going to do that. Let me know how it goes for you guys. And I'll let you guys know how it goes for us if we partake in it. I do think it will be fun for a lot of people, though. You'll be in, however the hell you pronounce that server. Serenus. I don't know how you pronounce all these different crazy names. Okay, yeah, let me know how it goes over there. If you guys see any other souls, I'd love to know. Let me know over on Discord. Shoot me a message, Cat Died. UTB says, I need milk and cookies. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. Let's see the results here of this poll. What do we got? So the question is, would you personally like to partake in this PvP event? 65% said no, 34% said yes. There was 38 votes. Quite a few votes on this, guys. Only 34% of people actually are wanting to participate in this event. That doesn't mean this event doesn't have merit, though. I think it's going to be a cool event for everybody, like I've been saying here. The Cat Died says, hopefully we will see other people. I will be giving them my honest feedback. I will be giving them my honest feedback. Good. Absolutely. I look forward to hearing your guys' experience over on that server as well. I hope you guys get to see people too, because that is kind of the whole point of it. Hopefully nobody thinks that this was just pure negativity here, because that's never what I want to breed here on the channel. I just will always, let's put it this way. If only good stuff comes out and there's no criticisms to be had, then the podcast will only have good things to say, right? If they're really dropping the ball on everything and everything they're doing is just all fucked up, then the podcast will be a lot of negative stuff. It's just going to be based on honesty of what is coming out. Honestly, what's coming out. It's just, if they're putting out good stuff will come from it, guys. It's really as simple as that. I will always tell you guys the truth here on the channel. I will always give you my level-headed opinion on things like this. I am very biased to exploits. I'm very biased to circumventing of things. That stuff to me has a fond place in my heart because it's a pet peeve of mine that things get done legit. I made Hallowed Ground, which is a mod pack for Minecraft since 1.7.10. And I've always done my best to make it to where people can't exploit through mob farms, through any form of cheaty way to acquire resources. I always try to make everything as fair as possible without having the opportunity of exploiting or circumventing things that are in place. So it's a pet peeve of mine for sure. I definitely have strong feelings about it, so I'm a little bit biased on exploits and circumventing of things. So if I come off a little hot on it, that's why. But this is not just my opinion. There has been countless people over on the community Discord server who are voicing that very same opinion. I do ultimately think it's going to be fun for people, though. John says, "Oh no, I'm the one with a flap cap and rock salt on the porch." But Cat died. Let me know how the event goes for you guys. I really look forward to hearing that. If you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Go back and look at my other PaxCast, guys. I know this one, I've guessed to some people, seemed to be erring on the side of negativity. Go look at my previous ones. We call out stuff. We praise stuff. We do all kinds of things like that here on the channel. I will always be honest with you guys. Go and check out previous streams. We have 30 days of PAX Day from our first experiences dropping into the world. I will say, once the 5th comes, PaxCast will be rolling over to Season 2. I'm doing it seasonally based on big patches. So this Season 1 is everything leading up to the first patch. Season 2 of PaxCast will be from the first patch onward to the second big patch. And that's how seasons will be done for PaxCast. If you guys want to stay in the loop on the most current up-to-date news on things, all things PAX Day, make sure you guys are over first and foremost on their official Discord, so you guys are getting the updates right from them, as well as tuning into the channel here to have these conversations with everybody. EOTB says, "Not at all. You are spot on, and everything should be questioned." And that's what I love to do. I love to question everything. You're spot on there too with that, buddy. "No one wants to be sheep. All things in balance. Passion for something is not your fault." Smiles. I appreciate that, EOTB. Yeah, I think I'm pretty level-headed with my assessments of things. And again, if somebody has an oppositional point to make against what I'm saying, I am all ears. I would love to have a good faith conversation with you guys about that stuff. And we've done that a lot in the past. Exclamation point Discord in chat, guys, gets you a link over to join our community Discord server. Exclamation point website to fill out an application to join the Cheeky Buggers United, which is our community where we play all kinds of games together, not just our PAX Day clan. You get to choose what you want to engage with over there, or to join the Order of the Blood Brothers. You fill out an application as well and just note on there that you want to join our clan in-game. Our clan is over 135 members now and growing every day. It's a lot of fun to hang out with you guys over on Discord and play all the games that we have been. It's a really, really great group of people. Subscribe, help us reach that subscriber goal, guys. We're getting very close to our goal. We're flying past 800. It's been a lot of fun to grow the channel with you guys, and I really appreciate all of my channel members. Thank you guys for the continued support. I really, really do appreciate it. We have a lot more content coming RP-wise for the Gwendolyn story. We got some more PaxCast coming up as we find more information. We have more gameplay streams coming up in the near future with the release of the update on the 5th. Ton of stuff coming out of the channel, guys. We have a lot of stuff coming out for CitizenCon as well. If you guys are interested in Star Citizen, we covered CitizenCon with an 8-hour stream for day 1 and a 6-hour stream for day 2. Some absolutely breathtaking stuff coming within the next 12 to 18 months for Star Citizen. Everything right up to, but not including, being able to build your own space stations. I think they said that that's not coming in the next 12 to 18 months, but everything else is player bases and all kinds of really, really cool stuff, guys. It's going to be a trip over there with everybody. I really look forward to hanging out with you guys over on Discord. If you have further stuff to say or you want to have more dialogue about this, about our concerns and about this event, please hop over on Discord. We're going to be chatting with people over there, expressing our thoughts and opinions. We're going to have a Sanguine Council meeting being scheduled very soon as well. So make sure if you are in the Order of the Blood Brothers that you do not miss this next Sanguine Council. It's going to be a big one. We do have the previous one recorded for people to be able to listen to so they can hear our thoughts and stuff, where we're going to be moving to, our thoughts about the wipe. We're going to be having that dialogue here on the Discord very, very soon. I look forward to chatting with you guys, but that's going to do it for me. I'm going to go get some food and I'm going to go relax and chat with everybody over on the community Discord server. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of PaxCast, bringing you up-to-date information about Conquer Lyonesse limited time PvP building event. Again, we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away a copy of PAX Day. If you guys want to win some free plots, either for an alt account or whatever you want to do. If you want to give it to a friend, family member, it will be yours. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and leave comments on all of my uploads. Every comment that you leave on an upload gets you an entry. You can only get one entry per upload, so you can't leave multiple comments on one video. But after this stream goes and turns into a video, if you leave a comment on it, you will get one entry. I have a program at the end of the month that will pull a random subscriber and their comment, and you will win a copy of PAX Day. The cat died, won the previous one. Congratulations to you. We also do some little giveaways and stuff during the streams. I gave away a 3-month Discord Nitro package on yesterday's, I think it was yesterday. No, the day before yesterday's stream, maybe. I can't remember. All the days blend together, guys. If you guys want to have some RP fun with us, The Omen of Oblivion, A World's End is coming to you Saturday, October 26th, 2024. It's going to be gathering at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. The event will start at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that is going to be on the US East DanuRP server in the province of Caries, located in southern Tremen. We are going to be going to the Nyx server. The Nyx RP server is going to be our new home. We don't know exactly where we're going to be putting down our roots just yet. We are going to be checking out that during the next Sanguine Council. Robert says, thanks, Void, and great discussion community from Fadril. Robert, Fadril, thanks for stopping by, buddy. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you appreciated the dialogue that we had here. It was really great to hear the different viewpoints that you guys have on this stuff. I love having the good faith back and forth with you guys. My favorite thing to do, as I always say, is to chat with you guys here live on stream. It's why I do these live. If I just wanted to bring you guys news and just tell you my opinions and not have good faith conversations with you guys, I would just do videos. I wouldn't even bother streaming. I wouldn't even be a streamer. I would just be a YouTuber and just make videos. But there's a reason I'm a streamer. And that's because just like how I run my community and just how I run my clan, I'm a man of the people. I'm here for you guys. I want to make sure your voices are heard and have those conversations with you guys in good faith. So thank you so much for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you guys over on the community Discord server. I look forward to seeing you at the Omen of Oblivion, A World's End. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.
Descends with shadows deep in blood heaven, no souls asleep. The blood moon rises in crimson light, casting its light upon the night. Winds howl through the hollow trees, a whispering chant carried on the breeze. Under the blood moon in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Lanterns flicker, casting ghastly forms. In the cemetery something stirs and storms. The graves crack open, their secrets revealed. In Bloodhaven no fate is sealed. A chill creeps in through stone and bone, as spirits of the lost make their presence known. Under the blood moon in Bloodhaven skies, darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Through cobble streets, footsteps fade, ghostly hands reach from the grave. No mercy here in the blood moon's glow. Bloodhaven's light is all you'll know. Under the the blood moon in Bloodhaven skies. Darkness awakens and the dead arise. Wolves in the distance, the witch's song. In Bloodhaven streets the night belongs. Beneath the blood moon's gaze the shadows sway. In Bloodhaven's light the night will stay.